The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Let's tidy up this tangle of film by putting it on a reel. Here is a motion picture film, 1,000 feet, 16,000 separate photographs.
Welcome, everybody, to the official space section of the chart.
What's the truth? You can't handle the truth.
Sir, you're out of order. Out of order. I show you out of order.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Real Debaters podcast. I'm Michael.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Emily.
And we're the Real Debaters, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning into another episode. This week on the show, we're doing the holiday special.
I love Christmas.
This week on the show is a real talk for you. Emily did the holiday special with us last year. If you do remember, listener, we did Who's Your Grinch and Who's Your Scrooge.
Yes.
And I thought, wouldn't it be fun if we did Who's Our Santa this year, right? We kind of skipped that one last year. Maybe we should have started with the big guy. But so we're doing Who's Your Santa? Who best portrays your maybe childhood version of Santa or what you think Santa should look like, right? And then we're also going to talk about Christmas gifts and what on-screen gifts is something you may want or something that makes you happy or just something that you might be wearing for today's episode. Who fucking knows, right? We'll get into it when we get into it. But before we get there, listener, we've got some things that are going on. Emily, me, and Jimmy are back at Little Brown Jug December 10th.
Yes, upcoming for another fun Christmas activity.
Trivia Part 3. I want to do like 50 of these and just keep saying Part 49, Part 50, Part 51. And this was Emily's idea. What was the idea for this one?
So my idea was that we do our favorite things. So this is going
Very Julie Andrews of you.
Yes, very Julie Andrews of me. So this is our Christmas version of our favorite things. So myself, Michael, and Jimmy each picked our favorite things from Christmas movies and TV shows and generally pop culture. And you've got 10 questions in each round from each of us. So.
And it could be like hard Christmas, or it could be like Christmas is happening in the movie. Like we're not your average trivia if you've never come before.
Holiday adjacent.
Yeah, exactly. Things that you like to watch around the holidays. They might not be a Christmas movie, but in your family, it's a Christmas movie. So we'll as we get closer, which is like a week from now, holy shit, things start flying this time of year.
Yes.
We'll start posting some hints maybe online, some things that you could start maybe looking forward to and brushing up on so that when you come to trivia, you're ready to go. $6 a ticket online right now on Eventbrite. Head to our social media if you want, all in the show notes. Head to Little Brown Jug social media. They'll tell you where to buy it, but Eventbrite's the easiest way to buy the tickets. Teams of 4. Emily is fantastic at what she does. She keeps me and Jimmy on time and does all the marking and makes sure that, because us two idiots will fuck up. It'd be a fight if it was left to our devices, I think.
100%.
You know that too, being there.
I've seen it action.
And you know what else? That you should get your tickets right now because to the surprise of, let's say, all of us, these events sell out.
They do.
Yeah, we have more friends than we think we do, I think.
And maybe this time when we say, hey, clap if you haven't heard of the Real Debaters, nobody's going to clap.
I'll still clap.
Fair enough. So, again, December 10th, 7 to 9 p.m., Little Brown Jug, 336 William Avenue. Buy your tickets right now. Like Emily says, we're going to sell out. We always do. And come. It's a $25 gift certificate to Landmark Theaters and free tickets to our next trivia night. So you can't go wrong. We're giving stuff to you to show up. And for $6 a ticket, I mean, to go to the movies in a happy, reclined position. We're not going to send you to Cineplex. I mean, great theater. We don't want to get sued by them, so we're not going to dog on them. But like Landmark, come on, you want?
I don't think Cineplex is listening.
Come on now, man. You got to shit on my dreams. I imagine the entire corporate level is listening to the show. No, not really. And then on December 12th at the Handsome Daughter, Jimmy, Charles, and me are doing Movie Night Part 2. We did Movie Night Part 1. It was a small success, I will say that. People showed up. Thank you for those who showed up. We did bingo and we did trivia. And now here's the great thing about these movie nights. They are free. You can just come, watch a movie, hang out with us. There's going to be some interactive things going on. We're going to be talking about the movie. Maybe some commentary sections will be happening. But pre-movie is a round of trivia to win some shit. And then during the movie, we're going to be playing bingo. And we realized right quick that it's more fun to do like one line anyway or 2 lines anyway instead of trying to full house it. Because if you don't feel like staying the whole night, you don't have to, and you can still win something. So this time we're going to do like 3 to 5 rounds of bingo depending on the length of the movie. Here's the movie. It's Krampus.
Nice.
And Jimmy's lovely partner in crime, Zoe, is making Krampus-themed cocktails for the evening.
That's amazing. Yeah,
so,
and the Handsome Daughter is a great venue. It's
it is.
a lot of
It's where
fun.
we did our first live crack at doing live podcasting in front of all of our family and friends. Who won that one? Mark won that one, didn't he?
Yeah, but it was his birthday, so
Yeah,
it wasn't
fucker.
fair.
Low hanging fruit. So we're starting to do these. So if you want to be involved in like the winning of things and the games and such, it's $5. If you don't, just show up. Just come hang out. We'd love to. This is to celebrate watching fun movies and doing a movie night and eating yummy fried chicken from Magic Bird and having some yummy drinks. So December 12th, 7 to 10 p.m. The Handsome Daughter. I think it's 61 Sherbrook. If you're from Winnipeg, you're coming, obviously, so just Google that shit. And is there anything else I said we need to do, Emily?
No, I think the upcoming events we're covered.
All right, enough with the shameless self-promotion stuff. Let's get into what everybody's here to listen for. Let's step off this mortal coil. And Emily, tell me, Dan, tell me what you watched this week.
Oh,
I'm sure he was there while it happened.
He is there quite a bit for this. So normally I do one TV and one movie, and so I'm actually going to do two movies this time. But I do want to put a little side note that I've been rewatching The Big Bang Theory.
Caveat, if you will.
Yes, I do want to say I've been rewatching The Big Bang Theory.
Bazinga. So when I said that, I said huzzah before the show, but bazinga, yes.
So for anyone who's wondering, should I rewatch it? Does it hold up? The answers are yes and yes. So go ahead and do that because it's really fun. But what I really want to talk about are some movies that Dan and I have encountered lately that I thought were really, really interesting.
Okay.
The first one is a movie called Corner Office. And so Corner Office, had no idea what to expect going into it. And to be honest, I had no idea what to expect the whole time I was watching it.
No trailer, no Googling, no nothing.
And it also made it was completely bonkers.
I like to acquire movies just based on a title or who's in it.
The tile is enough, right?
Just
the little poster.
And then just give it a shot.
So this
God, you're daring.
This movie stars John Hamm and nobody else that I recognized at all. And so John Hamm is a new employee in an office where he is struggling to get along with his coworkers. His coworkers think he's weird. Oh, that's not true. There's no one. The guy who played Abed from Community.
You talk. I'll bring it up.
Yeah. Abed from Community is in it as well.
Okay.
And so he's struggling to get along with his coworkers until he finds this office in the hallway. And when he goes into this office, everything is fine and he is confident and he's amazing and whatever, but nobody else can see this office.
Interesting.
And as far as everyone else is concerned, this office doesn't exist. They can't see the door. They can't see. Anyway, so I would say I don't want to spoil it, but I don't even think I understand it. So I don't think I could spoil it even if I wanted to.
I don't really figure out the ending, but it was a great watch.
But it definitely the whole time.
Yeah, I'm looking at everything right now, and none of these names besides John Hamm really speak to me.
Yeah.
Joachim Back is the director. Orson is his name, right?
Yes, Orson is his name.
Is it like an absurdist comedy kind of thing?
No, it's not really funny.
I don't know if it's funny.
It has amusing moments, but it's just it's hard to categorize.
It was super, super strange. And I thought I had it figured out. Like I said out loud what I thought was happening in the movie. I was totally wrong. And that doesn't often happen. I'm usually pretty good at predicting. So this movie was just off the rails weird, beginning to end. And I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed not knowing what was going to happen. And then even when it got to the end, still not really knowing what happened was kind of cool. Like it was neat. You didn't spoon feed you anything. It was all very like...
I like this breakdown of it. It's the authority. What's the authority? It says the authority's newest employee.
That's where he works.
That's the company.
The company that he works at, but it's never explained.
Nobody says what they do.
No.
So were you guys left to kind of come up with your own ending? Was it metaphorical or was it like on the nose? And you're like,
It was definitely not on the nose.
Really?
Or maybe it was, and I'm thinking too much.
I think you're overthinking it. I think it wrapped it up well, but I can't right now remember how it ended, but I remember.
We all watch movies, don't.
I remember how it ended, and I'm not going to tell you, but I don't know.
It was worth a watch.
Yeah,
like when I said you should watch The Menu, and I was right, and you were like, "Oh my God, is this the kind of thing where?"
I would
think
actually.
So.
I don't think it's quite that. The Menu is like a whole other level of movie in my estimation.
Well, it's commentary as well as.
But it was a different. It was a different like genre and theme.
Mm-hmm.
But
what are the themes in Corner Office?
Probably mental illness.
Yeah, mental illness.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna watch this today. You guys are selling me because I like things that don't necessarily have a format, right? Like they kind of break away. Right now, I love it because I am and it's a hot take, superhero fatigued. I am. And it's not because I don't like it anymore. It's just because I'm getting too much of a good thing, and I'm getting fat on it.
I
and
agree. I think that's why they've stopped making so much money at the box office, because people are like, well, I'll just wait till it comes out on DVD.
Yeah, I'll Disney Plus it, right? So, but like this kind of stuff that breaks away from what's happening right now, I'm like, give me more.
Yeah, super weird. You're really going to enjoy it.
How's John Hamm?
He is great as always. So weird in that movie.
This sounds like a Black Mirror episode.
So well, yeah.
You know what? Yeah, it
kind of
could-
feels
it-
like
yeah.
that a little bit.
It could definitely.
I was uncomfortable the whole time. I had no idea what was happening. It was a lot of fun. So I definitely recommend it.
How many corner offices?
How many imaginary offices?
Imaginary, yes.
Well, is it imaginary? I don't know. Out of 10, I would say it was 7. 7 imaginary offices out of 10. Yeah, really, really cool.
Okay. And plexing, we're plexing. Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're on Plex.
I have to log out of yours and log back in to see your updates.
Oh, really? That's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. I can go like 2 weeks, and then all of a sudden it's like, Dan, like Bonded is not available for you, and I was like,
what the heck?
don't do this to me. Rely on this. And then I log out and I log back in, and everything's fresh and there, and my history's there and everything. So
Maybe some settings in there.
it's, you know what it is? It's just my TV versus whatever you've got.
Yeah.
Than our
It's
server.
exactly what it is. It's fucking settings.
So then the other one that I watched that I am going to talk about was Gran Turismo.
Is it not so much fun?
It was so much fun.
Right?
It was beginning to end. I loved it. It was long. Like, that was a long movie, but not in a way that I was like, oh, when is this movie going to end? Like, in the way that I was just like, I'm so excited. I love car racing.
Were you a Gran Turismo player?
No,
Like, no,
no, nothing.
Okay.
And I
mean, you look like it.
Yeah, you're right. And I do watch racing. I watch F1, so I
Okay.
don't watch.
That's right,
I don't
you
watch
love
stock car
open
racing.
wheel and yeah.
So I don't watch stock car racing. So what they were doing,
Is,
but
is that like
like
dipping into the
NASCAR and, like,
slums
stuff like that.
for you open wheel people?
it's just different. It's
How dare you close the wheel on my car?
it's just different. But because I'm familiar with racing and racing terminology, and I think I enjoyed it more because of that.
Sure.
They did a really good job of explaining what was going on.
Did you know True Story as well before too?
Only what they said.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we looked it up after. We always do at the end of like the true stories until we look up like how much
true
of
is
a
the
true
story?
is this.
Yeah.
But
Auto or semi-auto?
yeah, yeah. But it was so fun, and David Harbour was awesome as always.
Zhuzh, perfect.
As always.
I want him to teach me how to drive.
The acting in that movie was spectacular. Like the movie itself was like whatever, right? It was fun, it was exciting, it was interesting, and the story was whatever. But the acting was
Orlando
out of this
Bloom
world.
was
yes, Orlando Bloom was
such an
amazing.
underrated. When they do the scene of like, "Are you sure he won? Are
Yeah.
you sure he won?" And I was like, they didn't need to include that, but that brings you in to care about the character.
Yeah. And the kid who played the main character, like, he was an exceptional actor. Like, the whole time, I was just blown away by
The father-son side of it too,
I was
right?
blown
Like,
away
yeah.
by the caliber of the acting in that movie, especially because I didn't expect it to be particularly good. You know, like I thought it would kind of just be a fluff piece, which it was. But
But it's a fun.
Yeah.
It's Neil Blom. Sorry, I don't know. Blomkamp doing what he does best and taking you out of the car and into the game and back into the car
yes,
again.
that was so cool. The way that it was done and everything. I really enjoyed it. I sat through that whole movie. I didn't take a pee break or anything.
It's just fun.
I was so excited about it. When it ended, I was like, oh man, I could watch 3 more hours of that, and I loved it. So I really enjoyed that one. So if you haven't seen it, even if you're not super familiar with racing, I think the human aspect of the story is really interesting. And again, I can't say enough about the acting. I thought it was really, really, really spectacular.
In your rabbit hole, did you notice that the actual guy was the stunt driver in the movie?
Yes, I did.
Isn't that neat?
I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah. So the story is about the guy who's an employee in the movie doing the driving sequences for himself from when he got into the.
Yeah.
Like, that's just too deep for my brain.
And he apparently drove for quite a while. Like, maybe his career wasn't quite as linear as they made it look in the movie, but he had a pretty significant driving career.
The crash is insane, isn't it?
Yeah, that crash was really crazy.
And just, like that one shot where they take him and he's like in his thing and then he imagines he's in the car.
Yeah.
And just putting all the, like, that stuff is, and he didn't.
The effects were off the charts.
The cinema, like the swooping drone shots on the track, made you feel like they were in the turn with them, and then on
I
the
just wanted to go racing. Like when the whole time I was watching the movie, like I just wanted to stop and then like go back and watch 16 seasons of F1.
Where do they race in Canada? Is it Toronto or Montreal?
In Montreal for
Would you
F1.
ever go see it?
Yeah,
we try to do it every year so far.
It's really
you just
expensive.
can't get tickets, and
it's really expensive.
How much is it?
If we were going to go to get if the two of us say went to get weekend passes to the Canadian Grand Prix, which is in Montreal, it would cost us about $700 each just for the passes. And then on top of that, $700 or $800, and that would be shitty seats, like not grandstand. That's like general admission.
Yeah.
And then we would have to get to Montreal and stay in Montreal.
That's another $1,500 round.
The hotels jack up the prices. Formula One.
Even Airbnbs are fucking you. Yeah.
So you're really like, for us, that would be a $5,000 weekend probably. Wow. To go and do that. And
Listener, we have buy us a coffee on our website.
Send Emily and Dan to an F1 race.
And I'll send them with camera gear.
Yes.
And then they can tape their experience and then come back and tell you all about it. And we'll name everybody who sent them on their way. So realdebaters.ca, hit the buy us a coffee link, and send these two to see what Verstappen. Thank you.
Verstappen,
that was close.
Dominating the field.
I think he's already won next year.
Yeah.
And he's just on a chair. He's not even in a car.
Yeah. If they can apply his points, like roll his points forward, and like how far he is ahead of the next driver, he's probably won the next 5 years.
I read a stat that if he had stopped racing halfway through this season, he would have still won and come first by a point.
Yeah,
Is he the Usain Bolt of fucking race car driving?
Yes.
Which is crazy because there are other drivers who are like also once in a generation talents that are in that field right now, and it's just such a bummer for them that they happen to be born and racing at the same time as Max Verstappen. But he's
got the car underneath him too. So
what is he? Ferrari?
Red Bull.
Red Bull. Well, what car is it though?
The engine is a Honda. It's a Honda engine, but it's a Red Bull car. Like that's they.
Red Bull picks one person from every sport on the planet, and they're like, "You're our hood ornament. Yeah. Go, Max."
Well, he does it. Go, Max, go. But yeah, we bet on sports, the two of us, and never seen it before. That they switched sports betting now, so that you can literally bet on a winner that excludes the winner. So you can bet on a straight up win that isn't a win. That's like second place because Max Verstappen's odds of winning are so high. Or you can also vote. You can also bet like Max or anyone else.
I need to know why, if they're all mandated to build within a spec, then how does he win? Does he just know how to move the car faster?
And the car is built for him specifically. Like lots of teams have pairs of drivers, and so lots of teams will build for their car for their drivers, like as a team.
It's a unisex.
And so but Max Verstappen's Red Bull is Max Verstappen's Red Bull, and Checo Perez just has to do his best to drive it. Like,
but in all fairness, he still came second because the car's that good.
Yeah, that's true. Perez still came second.
I don't think Perez is a top tier driver, and he still came second.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of other drivers up there.
We need to do a whole episode at the end of each F1 season just dedicated to what you fuckers know. I didn't realize how much you fucking know about F1.
It ended last week, so
yeah, it's just we got like 96 days.
Here's your debrief, listener. If you're an F1 fan.
Oh well, you got the debrief right on the head. It's Max Verstappen, Max.
Drink a Red Bull and sit in the fucking nosebleeds, losers. How many drone shots out of 10 do you give Gran Turismo?
You know, this might be a bit of a hot take because, like, as a movie in total, maybe like it's not about to win an Oscar or something.
No,
like this.
not at all.
But zoom, motherfucker, beginning to end.
Yes.
9 out of 10.
Totally.
Shots.
I would give it 5 out of 10.
We like different things out of movies.
I liked it,
yeah,
but I don't think I will ever rewatch it.
That movie's is a virtual roller coaster for me, right? And that's why I think the same as you, Emily. I was like, I just had fun. I wanted to have fun. It was about race cars. It was about the science of race cars and the politics of race cars. I'm like, I'm in.
Yep.
I'm in. This is how you can educate me.
And I don't necessarily rewatch movies often. So for me, a movie is my enjoyment in the moment rather than the rewatchability for me. So I probably won't rewatch it either, but that doesn't change my rating.
Dan, what'd you watch?
Besides
Gran Turismo and Corner Office.
and Big Bang Theory.
Yeah. Big Bang Theory.
I've been rewatching Star Trek: The Next Generation. I went all the way.
Who's the captain in that one? What actor? Is that
Picard.
That's
Oh, the
Picard.
actor is
Ensign Mount?
no,
No.
that's Strange New World.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Patrick Stewart.
Okay, you're watching that.
John Stewart. John Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart. We got
Jimmy
there.
Stewart.
Sir Patrick.
Sir Patrick.
Sorry, yes, he's been knighted.
Yeah, and so it's been fun because they're really bad. Some of those first episodes, like some of them are really bad.
The reason I ask you which one it is because they've stacked on top of each other so much now that I'm like, there's too many Star Trek blanks to know what Kirk, Picard, Archer,
Cisco.
Like,
Janeway.
you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know who you're talking about now. Go on.
But yeah, so I've managed to slug my way into halfway through season 2, and it's pretty amazing.
Riker has his beard now.
Riker's got his beard.
Nice.
Riker. They were in a
I'm a
writer's
lot.
strike for the first part of season 2, and so they're really bad. But
There was a writer's strike?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so they pushed 26 episodes into like 3 months of writing or whatever it was when it was over. And they're starting to get a lot better. And it's good. It's good fun. I'm looking forward to continuing through. They just get better and better. It's like season 3 is where it really turns around. So
Having watched so much Star Trek, do you notice that old Star Trek may have some of the same stories as new? Like they just change the color
The
of the alien
storylines?
or like the planet name.
100%, because I watch different ones all the time too. So like maybe I'll watch an Enterprise episode and I'm like, oh, I just saw the Voyager version of this, like
Or the
3
Deep
weeks
Space
ago.
Nine version
Or
of
the
this.
every
Oh,
show.
Voyager, yeah, fucking Scott. What's the Scott Bakula?
Scott Bakula. That's Archer.
that's
Captain Archer.
that's
That's
Enterprise.
Enterprise.
I didn't connect
That's
that.
Enterprise.
So don't come for me, Trekkies. I'm sorry, I'm a fanboy.
And so yeah, I also listen to a podcast that breaks down each episode, and they give a lot of information. Like one of them's a super huge nerd, Matt Myra, and Andy succumbed to do it. It's called Star Trek: The Next Conversation. I rate it 5 stars.
You know, I like our name now, but I wish we would have been something like Vidiots.
Oh, that's a good one.
You know, but all these names are taken, obviously. But the next conversation, sirs, you get I love your show. I'm less new an episode, but the title's amazing.
Well, I've been listening to it, and they've been doing it for 7-8 years now.
Wow.
And so they're already in the middle of Deep Space Nine, and so I just reset and went back to the beginning again, and it's fun because the format of their show hasn't changed, and they make a lot of mistakes, like sound cues. They've got jingles and stuff, and it's always in the wrong spots and stuff like that. And
I respect that because ours are too. I mean, like versus like, right?
yeah, and they leave it in, and they refuse to edit it, and it's perfect.
Boys, you've got my vote
Out
now.
there doing God's work.
You're out there. You're out there in the great frontier of space. Do they stardate
The
there each
final
episode too?
frontier.
No, they just it's episode by episode.
Stardate number 1.
No.
Stardate number 42.
Well, they've got because they've covered Voyager. And
Yeah.
Deep Space
Well, I mean,
Nine,
after a
and
while,
they-
you gotta branch out.
Yeah. So like, they just episode by episode, but they basically play the episode, and then.
Have you noticed the
talk over it.
replicator gets better on each ship, or are they pretty much the same replicator?
They're pretty much the same.
Well, how's that tech not advanced to the point of like?
It was pretty advanced by the time they got out there.
It's
Anyway,
pretty
they,
advanced.
They
yeah.
got what they wanted
'Cause
out
with
of it.
the like the holo suites and stuff that uses replicator and transporter technology. It's
Commander to
pretty
holodeck, Commander to holodeck. Fuck. I mean, my priest was a huge Star Trek fan. I'm not kidding.
That's a
so
tangent.
random.
I know it is, but it's my only
Did-
hard Star
Did
Trek.
you just did that bring back like a memory of like
I'm
a sermon,
trauma- yeah.
sermon or something where he was using Star Trek?
Well, no, he would
references?
stardate his sermon. Stardate Ezekiel 42, chapter 7, verse 9. No, I'm kidding. No. He was a really cool priest, and I mean that in like not the creepy way everyone's taking it, but like. I didn't watch Star Trek episodes, and then something happened. I'm also not like segueing into that either. But like, no, he was into wrestling, and he was a big Star Trek fan. He dressed in black when Star Trek went off the air. Like he had a funeral, and
R.I.P.
so Father Jimmy Sink, he's from Alabama. He was
Now there is approximately 1 billion episodes of Star Trek out there for him to watch.
Yeah,
as much as he wants.
well, I mean, at the time it was Next Generation, so it's like, what happens next, right? We've got the movies, we've got the where did you go? And now you deaf. I'm sure he's caught back up.
One of the funny things I think about TNG for us watching it is that I grew up watching TNG like with my parents. It came out the year before I was born, the first season.
Oh wow.
And so it's kind of funny when we're talking about it because I'm like, oh, this reminds me of literally my childhood, like being a baby, and Dan's.
And then I'm like, this episode came out
when I was 15.
the day, like 88, like
the day I was
you
born.
were born.
Yeah.
Like the last episode I watched, he was 6 months old when it
Like
came
when
out.
TV can date the difference between the relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't alive, and I was loving this episode.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, shout out to those dudes. Star Trek: The Next Conversation. That's fantastic. We'll put their shit in our show notes.
Yeah, for sure.
For anybody to find out about them. That it? Just TNG in it, and
Yeah, pretty much. I've gone back to Doctor Who.
because it's like they've got a new
one-
special or
the
something,
new
right?
special just came out, which I
Yeah.
haven't watched yet. But I
And
did.
again, which Doctor Who?
David Tennant's in the new
Tennant,
special,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
because there was
David
yeah.
Tennant's my Doctor Who. I know that's sacrilegious because I think that goes back to the 50s. That show, 50s.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
60s?
No,
Dan,
David
Dan
Tennant-
likes Tennant too.
You like
Tennant
Tennant,
is
yeah.
one of the most favorite. Matt Smith was my favorite.
Tennant. Matt Smith was also a good one. Yes. yeah.
But I never finished watching the Lady Doctor, the newest one.
Jodie
Whittaker.
Comer?
No, Jodie Whittaker.
Whittaker.
Whittaker. Okay.
She's in Broadchurch and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's
So
so
Broadchurch was a really good show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like I got up to a point and then I just hadn't finished this last season or the last 2 seasons. So I started watching that and I'm like 5 episodes into season 12 and I really like she's a really good doctor, except that she always seems to be behind the 8 ball. Like the other doctors always like kind of knew what was going on and had a plan, whereas a lot of the time she's like, I don't know what's going on.
That's how you get the annoying, strong female archetype,
Yeah, I think what they've done
where you
is
like put them behind the 8 ball on purpose,
Yeah.
and then they can perform, and then
Yeah.
they're the. And I it's bullshit. It's
I
low
think,
hanging fruit. but
yeah,
it's
I think that they should have just kept writing it as like the Doctor and not. It doesn't matter. Like you, strong female character, strong male character. Like
Yeah.
they don't.
they have the TARDIS, they have the powers,
Yeah.
they have the ability to travel through time.
Yeah.
Why does this person need to be caught behind the 8 ball with
yeah.
so much in
and,
the corner?
And it's only about 2 out of the 3 episodes I watched where she was like fully behind the 8 ball. But in the last one, she was like back to the Doctor, and I'm like, probably right.
This
It's
makes me
probably
want to
on
ask
the
you
writers.
if she's coked out all the time because you're saying 8 ball so much.
No, it's just.
Like, is that a euphemism, or is she literally trapped in every shitty
I mean,
situation?
the
No,
doctor,
I
like
was
Doctor
talking
Who, the Doctor
about
by like
Pool.
yeah, but also the Doctor is a little bit like all over the place all the time.
Yeah.
So like maybe
Manic.
manic. That's the word I was looking for.
Nice.
The
Yeah.
new Doctor that's coming out, he plays the character in Sex Education. The best friend of the main character, the gay guy. Anyway, I think and everything I've heard about his upcoming performance in the new Doctor Who,
The new Who?
has been like
They're resetting it too. It's no longer that. It's
Awesome.
season 1.
Oh, they're doing
They're
like
going
a
back to
hard-
season 1 again because they did the reset for the 2005, which with Chris Eccleston. Well, I can't remember.
Eccleston?
It's
Yeah.
like a badge of
And then-
honor to play the Doctor.
I think so. Yeah.
As a British actor, I think you really get some clout when you
Yeah.
because that's a hard sci-fi show.
Oh yeah, and it's been going for almost like since the 50s. You said it's like 80 years.
My stepdad had his internet shut down for trying to download everything at the time in like early 2000s. Like when you could download,
Yeah.
like when we could all rip. He literally, Shaw was like, "We're taking away your internet. What are you downloading? Or what are you trying to launch?"
Doctor Who.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like everything from Doctor Who for 40 years.
Yeah.
Didn't know he could do that. How many fucking TARDISes out of? It doesn't matter with a TARDIS. It's infinite TARDIS.
Well, there is only one TARDIS.
But it's
yeah.
bigger on the
Actually, there's
don't
more.
forget
There
it.
is lots
Don't
of
forget
TARDISes.
it's bigger on the inside, so you got to account for that in your rating.
Great square footage.
Well, overall, I give Doctor Who 10 out of 10, but this season I would say is an 8 so far.
All right. I missed the boat. It wasn't something I watched with my dad or my mom when I was a kid, but like I appreciate how it's like battled its way into pop culture
one of
and geek
the-
culture and
One of the good things I think is you can jump into it anywhere.
Oh, really?
Like,
You don't need-
you don't need to go back all the way. You
they're
can
not going to throw back to 70s episodes and be like, remember when?
They have
No,
like
it's-
Monster of the Week sort of
There's,
episodes.
there's
yeah.
usually a
Oh, that's
there's
fun.
usually a season arc that picks up, like some episodes are heavy on the arc, and then it pings up a little bit in other episodes, but it's usually Monster of the Week.
Pings up, he says. I
Exactly.
love it. I love when you slip your slang in. That's the whole reason you're here. No, I'm just-
His accent.
his
Yeah.
accent. Okay, so yeah, okay. Like shout out to I watched American Horror Stories, the new one, last night. They dumped 4
I
episodes.
still haven't seen it. I
haven't seen any of those.
They're, I'll give a quick on this. They're like the Black Mirror horror things.
Which is great. I love horror.
So
So
we watched Organ, and we watched, well, I'll tell you about Organ. Organ's about a dude who's like just toxic masculinity dude who gets his organs stolen from him on a like a Tinder dating site.
nice.
And he goes on this like global spree to find out that maybe men are being targeted for their organs for a specific reason of the time. So it's very relevant and full of themes of right now.
Oh, I
right?
like it.
It's Ryan Murphy being like, here it is in your face. The other one, I can't remember the title of it, but it's about being a supermodel and weight and image and bulimia and all these things. But she moves to New York to be in this gorgeous black woman. I cannot remember her name, but like she is perfect as she is walking in. But Lisa Rinna, if we remember her from certain housewife shows and the throwback to soap operas, she plays a modeling super agent. Tells her she's too fat, but says there's a couple ways you can deal with this. What does she do? She goes to a doctor and gets a carbon copy script for Ozempic. So it's the whole story of how the fashion and movie industry has been overtaken by this obsession with this drug. I've only watched 2 of the 4. They're right on par with what's happening in the world. So that's the whole reason I suggest watch it.
Yeah,
Where do we find
Disney
this?
Plus.
Disney Plus.
They and like because
we canceled our Disney Plus.
Oh, you took Krista Freeland's advice and saved yourself some money.
Yeah. I always meant to cancel it ages ago just because.
If you're not watching it, you're not watching it.
Disney was pretty darn evil in the whole like writers and actors strike too.
So you're hitting them with the wall. Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. And I have Plex.
We canceled our Netflix too when they implemented the password sharing because our kids are halftime not with us, right? With their dad.
Yeah.
And then
And
they
so
couldn't use it when they went.
yeah, and so we were like,
And we don't watch it.
no, so
And signing out of yours and signing into his.
nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're paring back our.
We only have Amazon right now, I think.
And-
I don't understand the pressure to be like, you
Prime.
must have
Oh,
them
yeah,
all,
Prime, yeah.
right? Like I have them all because I don't do anything but.
Oh,
you
Apple
watch
TV.
them, yeah.
We have Apple
Oh, Apple
TV.
TV,
Yeah, I
yeah.
do.
Prime.
Like I rip through so much, right? Like
Yeah.
Monday nights Apple, Tuesday nights Netflix,
Yeah.
Wednesday nights Disney, Thursday like right.
Are you watching? Are you watching the Monsters?
That's what we should.
That's what we should have talked about. That one's good.
The Monster Show on Apple.
Oh yes,
It's so good.
Monarch.
The Monarch.
Monarch, yeah.
Monsters.
Oh, it's
yeah.
so
Oh my
good.
God, amazing. We're
just
actually going to
watched
go
season
home, get
3.
high, and
we just
watch
watched
it again.
the 3rd episode today.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you
Or
did
last night.
You saw the 2nd episode then, which was like, oh wow, so they've tied in Castle Bravo,
Yeah.
Yeah.
nuclear
Yeah.
explosions,
Yeah.
everything. Like what they're doing with that show is so fucking cool because it's it's an American version of a Japanese tycoon of a fucking show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With all these little things from all the movies and all the universes, and Max Shackman, who's like a fucking genius director.
It feels
Yeah.
so good. You know, like
It-
So
to
good.
watch,
It
like,
feels like first season of Lost when I first saw the first season of Lost.
You don't know where you're going. You've got 2 timelines. It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Kurt Russell and Wyatt playing each other. That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of fun.
Dan had the best moment
Oh, yeah.
yesterday where he was like, are they fucking father and son in real life?
I had no idea.
Oh, you had that moment. did you?
He's like Captain America and Kurt Russell,
No, U.S. Marshal.
U.S.
Yeah,
Marshal,
US agent.
U.S. agent, and Kurt Russell.
Thank you.
It was a very funny moment.
Wesley Snipes is U.S. Marshal.
Yeah. No, that was he's in it. But
Yeah. Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones.
That's
was
it.
the
Thank
US
you.
it was very
Harrison Ford, what? Yeah, no, Monarch is fantastic.
Oh, so
Listener,
good.
we just released our best Monarch debate. We actually debated a couple weeks ago what the monsters should do with their career next. We pitched a monster. So I pitched Hydra to do a talk show because 3 heads are better than 1. Jimmy pitched the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and fucked the whole thing up and was like, well, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man will also have a talk show and interview all the monsters from the Monarch universe. And I'm like, why didn't you just pick a monster from the Monarch universe, dipshit? And then Martin did a dance movie with King Kong.
amazing.
So, listener, if you're big into the Monarch series, we all tell you should go watch it. It's you know what was the best part about it was that they understood the assignment 3 seconds in. Give us monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
John
yeah.
Goodman running on an island,
Yeah.
and like anchoring back to Kong Skull Island is really smart because that's what happened in Kong Skull Island was Monarch was introduced.
Yeah, we're looking forward to going home and watching it today.
Yeah,
you're gonna love. Yeah, because it debuts Fridays, right? Means I got to watch episode 4 too.
Don't remember.
I think it's Fridays.
I just turned the TV on and it's like, new episode of this. I'm like, oh, cool.
My big thing this week, and I mean, I'd love to talk about Survivor with you guys because it's insane. Like,
they're so good. The players are so good this year.
They are. They
Maybe
really are.
we should have a wrap up Survivor show.
I'm down.
The strategy of
you know
those
what?
players
We'll get Shauna on our episode.
Because this season there's so many great players.
It is very interesting.
And Bruce.
And Bruce, yeah.
Have you guys listened to the podcast? Did you know that? Okay, so Jeff finally does a podcast. It's a companion episode.
Mr. Pro.
So a producer from the show, a dude from 2 seasons ago who's like do you remember the guy who had glasses and he was really big at the beginning and then he lost a ton of weight and then he was banished and then he came back and lost at Fire? I can't remember his name for the life of me.
I do remember that.
Okay, that guy is the host. Then they have a producer from the show from like the last 20 years of the show.
Oh, cool.
And then they bring Jeff in at the end and ask Jeff's opinion of each episode each week.
Interesting.
I will be searching for that.
Jeff drops the biggest, juiciest bits about how they make the show. Like he talks about how they edit it, how they produce it, what's happening, how long things take, where things are, how long it takes to get to certain things. Like you get really wrapped in.
Oh, that's cool.
And they're going to do one each year now with each season.
I love it.
Because Jeff's my dream interview, by the way. Like I would, Brad Pitt, yes, I'd love to.
Jeff Probst, come on the show.
I would love to pick Jeff's mind and just be like,
we don't mean it like not actually pick your mind. We won't do anything to your brain.
It's no science, just psychology. But that's been great. But what really fucking like I want to love it and I liked it. But here's what happened. So I was late to Loki. I didn't finish it. I didn't watch it with everybody else. I heard about how great it was. I even read the season finale review and was like, this is awesome.
It was awesome.
This is really awesome. But then I watched it and was like, what am I missing that like some of the visual cues didn't line up with what the dissection of the episode was.
Oh, okay.
And I think I'm never going to do that again because that really ruined it for me. Like I thought it was beautiful. I thought Loki coming full circle. Glorious Purpose was the first thing that came out of his mouth. That's what he wanted. That was the title of the episode, right? Doing the thing with his dad, being like, for you, for all of us, for all time. Like there's so many beautiful moments in that show. You get very connected to Loki. You root for Loki. Jonathan Majors, I mean, it sucks what's happening to him, but he's a fucking rock star in that show. Walter Timely or whatever his name is. Like, it was so much fun. But is he the god of stories now that he's wrapped all of the time? Like,
no,
did he save the TVA? Did he die?
He became the new TVA. He's the same. He is the Weave now. Like he is.
So when he walked up and held all the,
he's holding all of the timelines.
Yeah.
So he is now. He's not Loki anymore.
He's pretty much, I think, Kang, right? Like the new. He's now doing what Kang was doing. But I think it's going to have the same result, right? Because he's going to be alone at the end of time. Like,
Kang created alternate universes to control people.
Yeah, well, Kang was trying to stop the other ones.
Yes.
All of the others. Whereas Loki's just let them all happen.
Yes.
So in
branching is okay.
Branching is okay now.
Yeah.
But all that really means is there's going to be a ton more Kangs, and we're going to get to see the multiverse fight.
Thank you, because that's what I was like, okay, so if we've saved what Kang started, how do we still get Kang Dynasty? But if that's the case, then Loki saving
Loki enabling multiverses to be means we're going to see 100 million Kangs fight each other.
Well, then we should be able to see Loki again in theory, right? I don't think he's like, you don't see him die. You just see him go into a tree and then cut to.
There's a theory that because he is now attached to all timelines and all things, he can appear in any timeline at any point because he is attached to them all, so he can be anywhere at
I would love if Loki was like the Sherpa who gets all the Secret War people through. Like he's like, hang on guys, I know you don't know why you're all here, but I'll help you through, right? Like he's the butler, he's the help, right? He's like the Q for James Bond, if you
he can be the plot device for so many bringing out so many other things in that don't quite fit. Like you can just use Loki to go in there and
they've used Loki.
Do a bit of explaining. So
Now, also, I loved Mobius's storyline, jet skis, right?
Yeah.
I like how we all
super
thought he
cute.
was going to be something like really cool and interesting, and he was literally just like a single dad who sold jet skis.
It was.
I loved it.
It was so.
Did you see the green bike and the two kids represented Loki and Thor?
Oh no!
What?
One
You
of
mean
them
Mobius's kids?
Mobius kids. One of them was in.
Oh,
Again, I don't
that's-
know. If you
I
look
dig
at
that.
a green bike and a red bike for Thor, the little kid was doing all weird stuff. The bigger kid was doing Thor stuff.
Oh, he was beating on his little brher, kind of thing. Yeah.
Oh, my
okay.
goodness.
That's so technically that's another timeline of Thor, Odin, and Loki.
Potentially, yeah. So
They just didn't end up as gods; they ended up as humans.
yeah, and also we don't know for sure that Mobius doesn't, because he went back to before he was.
That's
pruned.
where I also
so
have-
that
yeah.
he was pruned for a reason, but we still don't know why he was pruned.
Was he
So
pruned because that could have been the right Loki, the right Thor, and the right
We don't.
Odin's son?
We might never know. Maybe they'll do a what if episode about it, but I don't think.
Oh,
we're
that
ever
would be
gonna-
fun.
Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to find out.
I like
I didn't.
Because
I didn't pick
also
up on that at
because
all.
everybody is getting a little bit superhero fatigue.
I'm not. I like superhero movies.
I do
Loki.
too, but-
Loki reignited my why I love,
Yes, 100%.
and that adds to the argument that it is not about superhero movies as much as it is about the saturation of the market. Right? You've got things that hit really well.
It was like Hawkeye last year at Christmas time.
It was
another one.
it was a lovely Christmas show.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Right. It was like Home Alone and Christmas Story and
With an Avenger.
exactly.
My favorite Avenger, which I know is weird, but I don't care.
No, there's nothing wrong with not having superpowers and being super good at aim. But like, and that so the Secret Wars, bleh, but Loki, fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Right. And like WandaVision, awesome.
Oh my god, yeah.
But like the the one with Amara Khan, the Marvels show. But maybe I'm not.
I liked that show.
I'm a boy.
Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel.
I
yeah.
loved
Okay,
that.
I'm a boy and I'm not a girl, and I think like I love her character and she plays it well, and I want to see the Marvels. But
I
that
haven't seen
show just didn't connect for me. But that's different from too much superhero. That's just
And
not
I
connecting.
think that was one of the good things that they are doing is they're branching out. They're making a show that's aimed at kids and
Yes.
for other people. Then Loki's aimed at people like us, whereas Secret Wars was aimed at nobody.
Everybody trying to turn back time. Is that what Loki's about?
I'm not sure. Yeah, but it was.
That would have been a great closing credit song. If I could turn back time. So yeah, Loki was my big thing this week. I just the article maybe was a bad article, but it really because I'm like I really enjoyed this and didn't want it to end. And Obi, right? Obi was just so cute.
Yeah.
And like he's now a fixture in the Marvel. Like he's a character in the Marvel universe, right? Like, can we have more of him, please? Because he brought the comedy to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
just
physical
being-
comedy was fun.
It was I loved it all. So I give Loki 8.5
Loki horns.
Timelines.
No, I want to say TVAs. I want to say branches.
Ms.
Ms. Minutes?
Miss Minutes.
No, because she's controversial now. What is it? What did he call the Sea-Doo? It's actually not a Sea-Doo. It's a personal watercraft.
Oh yeah, personal.
Because that's like a brand that's like asking
Yeah.
for Coca-Cola. So I'm going to give it 8.5 personal watercrafts out of 10.
Nice.
That's good.
So, and like it was a buddy cop show to me.
It did
Anybody
feel
else
a
get
lot
that?
of- yes.
Or
it
like
did
a
feel
buddy
that way quite a
road
bit.
trip show,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like it really, and I think that was the pitch. They were like, Kevin, we're going to do a buddy road trip, but it's going to be through time instead of
Yeah.
through Arizona. So yeah, that's about all I got for my week. The theater's been dead. I haven't really wanted to go to any.
We actually have like some free.
We want to go see the
movies.
Marvels.
You got
but
some
it's
free
just-
passes?
It's just finding time.
Yeah, we just haven't been.
Sure.
But yeah, we'll probably take the kids to see the Marvels because.
I'm going to see Napoleon this week because that came out last weekend. But I promised somebody I would wait because Ridley Scott. Those are our movies. Aaron, you big bitch. And the Marvels. I let the review of the Marvels keep me from going to the theater, but then I've listened to Mark Bernard and Kevin Smith, and they're like, those are the two opinions I trust the most, because you've got someone who's like, fucking no story with Mark, and then you've got Kevin who's like, I'll suck the dick of any Marvel movie. So you get the best of both worlds, and they both said it was a lot of fun, and the comedy's there, and Brie nails it.
Well, people shit on the first Captain Marvel movie.
I loved the first Captain. I loved it.
And people shit
it's one of my
all
favorites.
over it.
Honestly,
So,
Miss
like-
Marvel's the only one that just I couldn't connect with.
It's because it was about teenagers.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't have kids, so it's not something that's in my life that's prevalent. I'm not saying anything bad about the show. Her character, when she, like, I can't wait to see her in between the two of them, like Monica Rambeau trying to be like, I need to tell you about time travel and protons, and then Bree's like, what the fuck's happening? Like, it's a girls' movie, but it's like Mean Girls in space with superpowers. No, it's not. I don't know.
I'm looking forward to seeing it, and I think the kids will like it too. And it's nice to be able to take the girls to, I guess, as crazy as this sounds, I didn't growing up, I never had a movie that I could go see that was just like, it was just women. Or like women talking to each other, women being in charge of the movie, women controlling the plot line. Like women were always plot devices for men, right?
Well, women not talking about men.
Never happens.
Never have.
And
The
so-
Bechtel test, they call
The
it.
Benchel test.
Yeah.
Brenchel test.
Brechtel?
Brenchel.
Brechtel.
Rectal?
The Runk?
He's right.
Runkle?
It's the Brenchel test.
It's the Bechtel-
Listener,
it's the-
you
it's the-
settle this.
It's the Bechtel test.
It's not.
Okay.
You can look it up if you want.
Yeah, no, you know what, I'm gonna-
So
Are we
I,
mansplaining the woman
yes.
conversation to
Yeah,
a woman
yes.
right now, Dan?
Of course we are.
Um,
That's what we're here for.
So
Get Siri to say it into the microphone.
it's fine. I know it's the Brenchel test. It's okay.
Go on.
So
Even R2 believes you.
I know. So like even when I saw Captain Marvel or like other movies like that, it's just weirdly enough when Frozen came out, right? It's not a movie about love in like a romantic sense of like a princess is finding a husband. It's a movie about these women going on their journeys, and our kids have always been exposed to that, which is so nice, and so I love that.
It's having your Frodo moment for the female persuasion, going on the journey, experiencing life, understanding shit.
Yeah, and it's just like it's on their own. Okay, go ahead, Dan. You can say it.
I got YouTube clip. Oops.
Take your time.
Looking at how to pronounce these names as well as how to say more confusing
Oh, I use this guy all the time.
words that too many mispronounce. So make sure to stay tuned. Channel, how do you say it?
Like and subscribe, listener.
Bechdel, as in Bechdel test.
Oh, is that what I said? Sounds like what I
Bechdel
said.
test. Is that?
That sounds like what I said.
I don't think
If I had a
that's the same
scoreboard,
thing.
I would write one down because
I
she's
don't-
not my wife.
I don't think that's the same thing though.
It is. That's the test for women in movies. I googled that first and then how to
Right.
pronounce
Are they talking about another man? You have to check that box. If they are, then it doesn't pass. And two women, so it's one. If the woman is like
I had the page.
constantly going after a man, that's one box. If two women are talking about another man, that's another box. And I think the third one is if they're not a lead character, but like Emily said, like a trope or a subplot or something that's not leading the way.
I have breaking news.
Oh my God.
Dan's right.
Oh my god, we got this on tape. I'm gonna need a timestamp so I can cut this out.
I might bribe her to edit it
Bechdel.
out. So if
No, he
she's-
was right. He's right. He's totally right. Bechdel.
Emily,
where
I'm
the
going to
Bechdel
tell you this
balls
right now.
test.
I'm you in my relationship with Shauna because Shauna's like, no. You're blending two names together.
Yeah, I did. I just did it. I
Yeah.
blended two names together. Also, I've been saying that wrong my whole life.
That's okay. And you know a bunch of people who are awesome who've never corrected you.
Yeah.
Unless you're out of the room.
What the fuck is she talking about? What's a Brenchel?
Quick, Google it.
Okay,
right.
let's open up the floor.
You guys want
to
to step into the
debate.
holiday spirit
Let's
of the
do
show?
some ho ho ho.
Ho, hoing. All right. If you skip to this point, listener, like we said at the top of the show, we're talking about Santa and we're talking about presents. I'm going to make the executive decision. Let's start with presents. Let's talk about that.
I
Now,
love presents.
I like we did last year, best Scrooge, best Grinch. I was like, sometimes you don't get the Christmas present that you want. I never suffered that problem. I'm an only child.
Yeah.
So is Dan.
It's such a great thing.
It's such a great thing. You never have to share. You never have to wait for someone else. Like everyone brings gifts for you. It is. It
The
fucks
whole,
you
like,
up. Is what it does.
I think that would. I turned out okay.
Yeah. I mean, I surprisingly enough, I am so okay with being like, have some, play with it, take it, go with it, right?
Yeah.
Because like, I've always had everything I've wanted. Fucking hashtag privilege. The point is just being a single child that happens that way. So when someone else gets a gift, I'm definitely cool with that. But on screen, though, sometimes you don't get the gifts you want in life, and then the gift you want on screen is something that you dream of, or just the fact that people on screen, do they buy good gifts? Sometimes they're shitty gifts. Sometimes they're gifts that resemble things that you would want to burn and start a fire with. So we pulled a list from, where's this one from? 13 most iconic on-screen Christmas.
From Vogue.
From Vogue. We figured the people at Vogue who know style and class and fashion might class up the fucking show here. So before we do the list and before we get into what we like, because what we like might be on this list, did you guys ever get a bad Christmas present when you were a kid? Do you remember like being like, fuck this shit?
No, I don't think I ever got a bad Christmas present.
You can be honest here. This is a safe space.
Well,
that number
my mom
6
might be
right there
listening.
says your mom is always listening.
Yeah, my mom might be listening to this. So
No, I never. I mean, I think sometimes there are years when you didn't get what you wanted, but even that, like, I think. I don't know, any presents are good presents. I really just love getting presents. Like, it's so much fun. And so I don't think I ever got a bad Christmas.
Like, you remember that, like, the Nightmare 16-year-old reality show where, like, Daddy bought them a Porsche and she's like, I wanted the silver one. You got me the white one. Like, I don't think I've ever bared witness to that. I don't think I've ever seen someone else's child do that. Like, you got to be a real thunder cunt to be like, this isn't what I wanted on Christmas.
yeah, for sure.
Okay. Do you
I've
remember?
definitely had things that were wrong.
Oh, I think
I'd asked for a bike, and
you got a trike?
No. But I'd asked for like I'm going to be weirdly specific here.
Okay.
Everybody had rally bikes.
Yes, they did. I had one,
and I asked for a rally bike for Christmas, and I got a different brand that was called some French name.
Holly.
It was
Jolly.
a weird brand, but that caused me trouble in school. Because I had the wrong, I wasn't.
You didn't have the
cool
brand,
anymore.
yeah.
And then so throughout my Christmas gifts, a lot of the time I didn't quite get the thing that I wanted.
You're adjacent,
but it was next to it. But like they tried real hard, and I got great things. But
you got a bike.
I got a bike, but it just got me beaten up a few times.
And yeah, I remember one Christmas like waking up and being like, oh, there's the entire G.I. Joe, humble brag, entire G.I. Joe like moving fortress that opens up 3 levels. And I'm like, I've been a fucking brat this year. Like, I know I've been a problem
like
child.
Santa's got some bad information.
Oh yeah, they got the wrong Petrow for sure. And
I do remember one year my parents wrapped up cans of beans and a box of Frosted Flakes and
that's hilarious.
And a bunch of other things too. I was little as well, less than 10.
And then did they bring out the real presents?
Yeah,
after?
the real present
yeah.
was downstairs, but then they were like, "Oh, it's Christmas! Let's open the presents." And then I think there was a film of me crying hysterically because they got me garbage for Christmas.
I mean, you like beans and Frosted Flakes.
Not for Christmas. They were already in the house.
Uh-oh. I've not done my Christmas shopping. I've made a mistake.
December 2nd, yeah. you had a little time to
Gotta
correct that
unwrap
problem.
those beans. Oh,
I think I did get like a Charlottetown Hornets starter jacket when I wanted like a Chicago Bulls starter jacket.
Yeah.
You know, you get like they just see a starter jacket and they forget that you wanted
A
like,
specific.
Like
you don't
your
know
team?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, you don't know anybody that plays on the Charlottetown Hornets. You don't know where Charlottetown is. What's a hornet? Like all these things, right? And this is not a bull. It's not a bullhead.
Yeah.
And you know, see, but if you're a good child with
say
good
thank
morals,
you.
say thank you, shut the fuck up, and you
And
Put it in your closet and never wear it.
exactly.
I don't remember getting bad presents, but I very viscerally remember when I was 15, all I wanted was one of those VTech cordless phones, the like purple
Bring the mic up a little bit.
the purple see-through VTech cordless phone. And that was all I wanted. And I thought about it all year. It was all I wanted more than anything. And I did get that on Christmas. And like that's my only, like Christmas is beautiful and all Christmases are great, but that is a core memory. This is like a visceral.
I know the phone you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Because you could probably star 6, 7 and have like 5 people on a phone call and you could walk around.
And it was, I don't know why the idea that it was see-through was like so important. But yeah, it was cordless and it was purple and it was see-through and it was everything.
It was like the hamburger phone from Juno.
Yeah, it's like that.
Those kinds of things that are just so fucking. I mean, I don't think I ever wanted anything from the movies growing. I mean, yeah, okay, all right. I wanted the Red Ryder BB gun, right?
Yes.
Because that's what you want, right? Because that's a Christmas movie of our
Put
generation.
someone's eye out with that.
Ralphie.
Yeah.
I didn't see that movie until I was like 40
Just recently.
something.
I made him watch it last year. It was the first time I'd ever seen it.
Did you make him watch the sequel that they tried to?
No.
Yeah, no. I think that thing should be burned and buried with the ET video game from Atari. Yeah, no, I don't really. Do you guys remember ever seeing anything in the movies as a kid that you were like, I fucking want that or something? Like,
Star Wars, but I just wanted the figurines. Like, so
okay, yeah, but I mean, like, did you want Ralphie's gun? Did you want
really.
Turbo Man? Did you want
Turbo Man?
Because I think I always understood that the things that these movies were presenting weren't a real thing that I could get.
Until like Tickle Me Elmo became a thing, and then everybody was giving each other fucking Tickle Me Elmo in movies for product placement.
Well, I might not have been watching movies when that happened.
That's true.
Or
There
not
was,
those movies.
Were you tickling your own Elmo?
Always.
Great. There was so when I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about like if I had any emotional reaction to any gift ever given on a Christmas movie, and there was only one very obvious answer for me, and that was when Judge Reinhold's character gets the Oscar Mayer weenie whistle.
Okay, that now you know what I'm talking about.
From
Yes.
Santa in the Santa Claus, right? Because he uses that as an example of why he doesn't believe in Santa. So for those of you who haven't seen the Santa Claus, A, what's wrong with you? And B, he's the stepdad. Judge Reinhold's the stepdad to Tim Allen's kid.
Yeah.
And so Tim Allen becomes Santa, obviously, and he
Calvin.
Yes, Calvin. Calvin. Yes, and then he tells. So the Judge Reinhold tells his kid that Santa's not real, and the reason he knows he's not real is because he wanted an Oscar Mayer weenie whistle for Christmas and he didn't get it, and he got all these other wonderful things, but no Oscar Mayer weenie whistle. And so at the end of the movie, Santa, Scott Calvin, brings him an Oscar Mayer weenie whistle, and it's just like this very cute, sweet moment.
It's a lovely moment because he just keeps fucking blowing it at the end, and I'm like, you should be flipping burgers,
and
not blowing this whistle.
Got such a happy look on his face, and it's also like a nice moment where the stepdad and the dad are, they come to some sort of
that
agreement.
Awkward, yeah,
and it's just cute AF.
It is cute AF.
Yeah.
No, I love the Santa Claus, and we're gonna get into why I love the Santa Claus in a minute, but I think the one on screen that brings me the most joy, and I've worn my version of it for you today.
Yeah, I love it.
And the reason I like it is because it reminds me of my grandma, and it's Ralphie's pink bunny outfit from the Christmas Story, which you just saw like 3 hours ago. And the reason I like it is because it reminds me of getting socks, getting underwear, but like just your grandma's gifts, I think, and that's a whole separate thing from like your parents' gifts. Your parents are responsible for buying you the gifts you want, the Raleigh bike, but the ones that your grandparents and your aunts and uncles send you from afar aren't always the ones that you want, but like are useful or cute. And I think that's why I like the bunny ears, because it reminds me of my grandma's socks and my grandma's sweaters and my grandma's
It's like whether you
slippers.
like it or not, you're putting it on Christmas morning.
You
and you're
are.
like, thanks, Grandma.
I mean, it's a hot take because it's like not it's not a Turbo Man. It's not the fucking Joni Mitchell CD in Love Actually, which we're gonna get into. Like it's boring. It's not. There's nothing behind it, but except love and like hoping your feet are warm in the wintertime.
And if that's not love, what is?
No shit.
Functionality is good sometimes.
It is function before form. All right, so let's start at the top of this list, shall we? So we're not going to do all of them because we haven't seen all of them, but 13 of the most iconic on-screen Christmas presents ranked by Vogue. Does anybody remember the embroidered pillow from Lady Bird? Because I remember the movie, but I don't remember the pillow.
I don't
No,
think
but
I've
if
seen
someone
the
took the time to embroider something for me, I would love it forever.
I think that's what's so important about it. The scene starts as expected. A family dressed in festive pajamas gathered around a Christmas tree to open presents. Everyone gets socks. Mom apologizes for being a small Christmas. And then a slow chuckle escapes Mom's throat as she watches her husband open his present, a pillow with a phrase that's hard to forget. Golfers never die. They just exist on greens.
Diet. Golfers never diet. They just exist on good.
Thank you. Forced laughter follows.
Christmas continues.
I don't think I'm ever going to see that movie.
No.
That looks horrible.
But that's cute. And I honestly, I love homemade gifts. When people give me something homemade, it's one of the, I don't know, it's one of my favorite things. Like somebody took some
has
time
a
to
thing
make
to it
something
that
for me.
isn't.
Oh, paint me a picture.
sweatshop didn't make it.
Yeah, paint me a picture. Like, draw me a picture. Like, crochet me a pillow. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, it's not just that a sweatshop didn't make it. It's that somebody sat down and took the time to think like, oh, I'm going to make this for Emily. and like thought of me as they were making it. I love that. I
Shauna is
treasure it
notorious for that. She'll paint you something. She'll buy you something that's so utterly specific to a moment. It's you know what? And to this day, number 12, I still haven't seen it. I'm planning on watching
You
it.
haven't seen Jingle All the Way?
I haven't seen Jingle All the
Turbo. So Jingle All the Way is one of my favorite Christmas movies.
It's okay.
Is so good. It's better than okay. It's awesome.
Is the Turbo Man though the gift? Like
Yeah,
it,
it's that- and that-
it's the Tickle Me Elmo of that year.
Yeah. A 1-year membership to the Jelly of the Month Club.
number 11. See, and I almost picked this one because it's just so it's what a sad Christmas exists on. If you haven't seen it, listener, a 1-year membership, like Emily said, to the Jelly of the Month Club and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I think it's because it's such a switch from paying for the pool.
It's so funny. I have this is my first year that I'm going to be eligible for a Christmas bonus in my entire working career. And like all I can do is be like, please don't be Jelly of the Month Club. Please don't be Jelly of the Month Club.
I hope somebody has a sense of humor and sends everybody one, and then they're like, your bonus is on the inside of the package of the jellies. Cousin Eddie, I mean, it's
a great movie.
It's
an absolute
that is the
fantastic
top.
movie.
Like I say, this one's one of my favorites. This one's one of my favorites. That one is my
That's
favorite.
the one everybody watches that every year.
I don't know if
At
it's.
least
I mean,
once.
I like jelly. Don't get me wrong, like jelly bagels, jelly toast, jelly Christmas morning, like all of those things together. But that's why you don't put the cart before the horse.
Jelly is jam, right?
Yeah. Sorry.
I was thinking it was
I
like,
like Jello.
Jello.
No, it's jelly.
Yeah.
Like peach jelly and strawberry jelly.
Jelly and
That's even better.
Yeah, but he
Then-
bought a
then the
pool for
money
like
for a pool?
15 grand.
Yeah.
That
Well,
was the-
yeah, no, it's not good. It's not going to help him with the pool.
not
But
good for
like
Clark.
having a different jam every month sounds nice.
it does. Yeah, it's not actually a bad gift. It's just a bad gift if you're expecting $20,000.
Exactly, which is why it makes it not the best on-screen gift.
A Louis Vuitton handbag. Yeah, that would be a good gift.
This is
Somebody, if anyone wants to know what I want for Christmas, that would
Louis?
be totally fine.
some
Didn't I
LV.
buy you an expensive handbag last year?
Not Louis Vuitton expensive, but yes.
Do you want to buy her something that could also be a car?
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I would buy a car.
This one's
I'll buy a car, put your purse in it, and I'll drive it around behind you.
This one's really sweet because that's her, like Jennifer Hudson plays her assistant in Sex and the City. So Sarah Jessica Parker's character, for that matter, Carrie, but she mentions that she would love a Louis Vuitton handbag. So Carrie remembers it, buys her own and stuff like that. That's why I think it contends with one of those nicer, sweeter gifts on screen because it's got some. It makes
for
it,
sure.
I would just love one because I can never have one. So she tries to get her one, but I don't know. Let's keep going down here. I think this one's fantastic. Emily, you want to read this
Carton
one?
of cigarettes Bender gets from his dad in a breakfast club was a banner year in the what was it? What's the last name? Banner year in the whatever house.
Does it say here?
Yes.
No. Hey, smoke up, Johnny.
Smoke up, Johnny.
Do you remember this, Dan?
I haven't seen The Breakfast Club.
You haven't seen The Breakfast Club?
This
Oh
is
my
crazy.
God.
This is crazy. Oh, there we go. The pink
Remember, I
bodysuit.
come from a different country when these were coming out.
right,
and
he's
we
foreign.
watched, and I had,
John
we had-
Hughes is very American.
Yeah.
It didn't appeal to me. That movie.
It's not a Christmas movie. It's just Bender talking about what it's like
What is-
around the old Christmas.
Yeah,
tree.
what his family, like his upbringing is.
Cigarette burns and
Yeah.
pack of Colts. But yeah, here we go. The pink bunny
Pink
suit.
bunny.
It's like, I mean, I think
It's perfect.
This
Ralphie
is
looks
rocking it,
amazing. You
rocking
look
it.
amazing.
this onesie's from a company in Sweden. It's called One Piece, I think. They're from Sweden or Switzerland. Shauna's got like 6 of them.
Nice.
I kind of want to get a tuxie.
They make like you could get like a bomber suit, like you're like an Air Force plane.
I
or
just,
plane
if you're gonna buy a
driver.
tuxie, I need to be very clear on tape up front that it does not count as formal wear. You cannot wear it to formal events.
No, it's a onesie that just looks better than a onesie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a stylish onesie, not a tuxie replacement.
This comes
It's
from
not
the
a
man who
tuxedo.
tells me that he has a formal hoodie.
I will
So-
say though, even as much as I love what this gift means for Ralphie, or what he doesn't respect, I don't think it's a good on-screen gift. Like it's a
good on-screen gift moment.
It is.
That's for sure.
There it is.
Yes.
Yeah. The message behind the purchase.
My
or the-
daughter's our daughter's best friend has that onesie. She wear like since when she comes to the cabin with us or when she sleeps over, she'll wear it. It's very funny.
the Joni Mitchell CD from Love Actually.
That's a terrible gift. Why is that on this? Because like the whole point of when she gets that gift is that
He's fucked up.
That he's having an affair, and he gave the necklace to his assistant. So this is not a good gift. Like, it might have been a good gift if he wasn't fucking somebody else, but like.
But it's Alan Rickman. Do you get that mad?
Yes. Yes. I do.
I mean, it's the turn for his character when he realizes that she says Joni Mitchell is the only reason that taught your wife
to love, cold heart,
this
British
cold heart,
wife to
yeah,
love.
your British wife to love, exactly. So I think that's his apology why he buys the gift. Like, he realizes the necklace was wrong, but it's still like, you fucked up, dude. There's no goodness behind.
I read a tweet the other day that it was like, if you watch Die Hard and then Love Actually, you get to see Love Actually and then Die Hard, you get to see Alan Rickman's character punished for his actions.
His
for what he does to Emma Thompson. Yeah, you get to see Alan Rickman punished for what he does to Emma Thompson. It's like, there you go.
That's funny. He fucked up his life, became a terrorist, went to America, took over an airport.
Gets thrown off a building. Everybody's happy.
Oh, that's amazing. The Love Actually necklace is following that up. Again, not good.
Also not good.
No.
I mean, good for her, I guess.
She's winning. She's definitely winning in this. The Seth Cohen starter pack.
Oh, in the OC that he gives to Anna.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
That is cute.
It was all of like the Jewish things for Christmas time that he takes part in. I think he gives her a yarmulke and stuff like that. Again, not a show you watch, Dan. Yeah,
we watched the first episode, I think, when we were trying to say what the best first episode of any show ever was, and I said it was the OC.
And it was garbage.
The Diary and Bridget Jones.
So, okay, yes, Bridget Jones' Diary, I actually don't like this movie as much because I love the book so much.
Oh,
and
it's one of those they left some shit
and I
out.
found like the movie was kind of whatever, but the Darcy character in Bridget Jones' Diary is, yes, very
Is
very
that
nice.
Darcy character, is this not like an abridged version of Sense and Sensibility or like...
Oh, Pride and Prejudice?
Yeah, Darcy,
I mean,
right.
she's obsessed. In the book, she's obsessed
This
with
is
Pride
your
and
people,
Prejudice.
Dan. Why aren't you saying anything?
This is a 80s love story. 90s love story. So I would have been a teenager. I'm probably not going to be watching a chick flick in the night. Like, I was watching, I don't know, Terminator.
You toxic man, you.
Oh yeah, no, I don't. I'm not denying it. I've grown over the years, but when I was younger, I was definitely a
dude. I was a dude too,
dude.
dude. Hey, dude. I'm not leaving you out there, dude. I was a dude as well, man. I think the journal is just like, here's a life for us together now that you can write about.
Yeah, it is, because she writes all the stuff in her journal and her diary. He reads the diary. He kind of gets like really, obviously she writes a lot of shit about him throughout. So he, it's like getting her a new one. It's like a fresh start, and like, here's just the
here's something you can write good things about me.
Or like that we can write about it. Like, you can write about our life together from here. Yeah.
I love the townspeople's donation of $8,000 in It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh yeah.
I think that's so one of those. You're looking at me like I'm a bitch, Dan.
I still haven't seen this movie either.
Really?
You haven't seen it? Oh, you need to see Jimmy Stewart, my friend. Oh my goodness, it's such a good black and white.
I know it through pop culture and context, and I've seen clips, scenes and stuff. But
I'll rule the day you crossed me, Mr. Potter.
I've never seen the whole thing. I've heard it's good.
It's heartwarming.
It's heartwarming. It's about community. It's about the Christmas miracle.
Every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings.
And then number one, the really expensive white gold hoops Gretchen Wiener's parents got her for Hanukkah in Mean Girls. Let's not forget our friends who celebrate Hanukkah, of course. That makes perfect sense. Those gold hoop earrings, though.
So funny. And that's just like such a random small part of the movie, too. But it's just like,
it's a good callback. It's a great.
Expensive white gold hoops that my parents got me for Hanukkah.
Okay, so out of this list, is there one that wins? We know what we've liked. We know what we've seen. But is there one that they forgot to put on here that you think should have been on here?
Oscar Mayer Weenie Whistle.
Okay, Oscar Mayer Weenie Whistle. Fair enough.
I think the winner in the like for me, if I was out of all of these, other than the money, from probably the pink onesie would be the one I'd want the most.
Dude.
Yeah, you're rocking it out there. Like the others, Turbo Man. I'm too old for it.
I can lend you mine if you want.
Or one of Shauna's 8.
Yeah. Get a feel for it, and then you can do whatever you want with one. I think. List wise, I like I like happiness for everyone in that regard. I mean, as cheeseball as that is, so the $8,000 back to the bank is good enough for me.
Listen, the only.
Oh wait, no, the guy doesn't get the $8,000.
No, it's a donation.
It's a donation. Like he gets screwed because of a banker, and then loses all his money. So then everybody who took their money out to try to keep their money gives their money back to him because he was just trying to help the town. If you watched it and let your cold heart break a little bit.
I'm not gonna.
just melts a little bit.
No.
You know what? The only items on this list that I had any sort of reaction to were the ones that made me angry.
Okay.
I'm going to say that.
Yeah.
So Alan Rickman in Love Actually needs to get directly off of this list twice because that's just not okay.
Well, that's Vogue looking at the fancy necklace part, I guess, and giving two fucks about it.
Get out of here, Alan Rickman.
Fuck off.
Except for the Mr. Bean bit there where he's trying to get it wrapped for him. Just the flashiest of flashes.
Would you like a bow?
Yeah, exactly. That part was good.
That's Rowan Atkinson.
Rowan Atkinson through and through.
Just being too fucking good. All right, so we've got our gifts, and we know what we had as children, and we were all good gift givers and good gift receivers, and we're all really good people here on the show, listener. But it's the person who brings those gifts.
Yes.
The magical Santa Claus himself. Krampus.
Santa, I know him.
Were you that European that you had Krampus? Like, how fucking European are you, man? That said, Santa is the hood ornament of this, pun intended, this whole conversation. You don't get gifts without the Jolly Man coming down the chimney, and I quote all of this. First question, Emily, when did you stop believing in Santa Claus? Or when was Santa Claus ruined for you? Because it's either or.
I still believe in Santa.
You still believe in Santa?
Absolutely. I have never at any point in my life.
Don't let your kids listen to this episode.
Stopped.
Talk to me truthfully now.
We don't let the care kids listen to any of these episodes.
No, honest to God, I believe very strongly in Santa Claus because I have seen firsthand like magic happen on Christmas morning, and
do tell. You can't. Don't skate around the rink here.
Well, okay, so. Every Christmas, obviously, very magical. But I remember one year when the kid's dad and I had split. And so I was a single mom, and we were doing Christmas, and I had done the kids' stockings, obviously, because like Santa magic. And I hadn't worried about my own thing or anything like that, nothing to do with Santa for myself. And I was kind of bummed. It was a bummer of a year. And I showed up for Christmas with the kids' stockings and everything like that, and right there under the tree, a nice big stocking from Santa for me. So, so I've definitely,
Interesting.
Yeah, Santa was never ruined for me. At some point in your life, you understand that maybe the physical version of Santa isn't what you thought it was when you were 2.
Okay.
But I very, very much believe in Santa.
Yeah, I'm down with that. I can fuck with that for sure. Like the magic of Santa is not necessarily what Coca-Cola tells you he looks like.
Right.
That's right.
And when I never slip on that because there's nothing for me to slip on. Like it's not even like I'm doing a bit. So when I'm talking to people, I'm like, "What did Santa bring you for Christmas?" And people are like, "Ha ha ha!" And I'm like, "No, I really want to know." Like, yeah, tell me what Santa brought you for Christmas.
Yeah.
Tell me, bitch. What did Santa bring you?
My mom still writes it on my presents from Santa.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, that's your handwriting. Like, get someone else to buy a stamp. Like, fucking commit to the bit. Was it ruined for you, or did you just grow up
I don't actually ever remember believing in him. I think I always kind of knew, but probably when I was little, I didn't. But
sure.
I always remember that it was my parents, because my mom was very distinct at handwriting too. The same thing is from Santa. And I'm like,
I don't need to be
this cursive looks exactly like yours.
The way you loop your eyes, I tell you.
And but I always into the spirit of it. Like I always expected presents from Santa, even though I didn't know he wasn't real or is real. Who knows?
Israel? No, they don't have Santa. I figured it out like divorced parents. That was where I figured it out because I was like, why do I get 2 sets of presents? That's not like Santa comes to your house, right, and then gets your presents. Santa really is dialed into the welfare of my broken family, that he knows that I go to 2 different homes
And buys you very different themed things from each
different
place.
presents, different requests. Like I started to poke holes in the theory of like, okay, if Santa's real, then I'm going to ask for something over here. I'm going to ask for something over here. And if I get both, then I know that Santa's not real, because Santa wouldn't create a little fat, greedy child out of me by giving me both at 2 different houses.
Right, you're holding Santa to a very high moral standard.
I'm
He
just
should have the highest.
the guy has a list. It's not a you're nice.
He also
He's
checks
the
it-
one holding
he
us to a
checks it-
fucking moral
Checks
standard.
it twice too. So like,
I don't keep a list of all the things you guys do wrong all year long. I don't do that to my friends. That's not right.
no, me either.
That's what Facebook's for. Okay, so let's just get right to it. There is so many different.
Can we do our favorite Santas before we look? Because I don't know what's on this list. But
Okay.
I wanna make sure that
Okay, I like that.
we should all have our Santas before we.
Let's
go.
go in uninfluenced. Okay.
Yes,
Emily, who is your screen Santa?
Okay, so this one is actually a newer one for me, because there are a lot of Santas that I like throughout the year, but the Santa that I have been the most interested in, intrigued by, that I thought was the most fun to watch in recent years is actually, once again, we go to Kurt Russell.
The Christmas Chronicles.
I really love the Kurt Russell Santa in Christmas Chronicles. I love that I love that Mrs. Claus is Goldie Hawn, and they're married in real life and have been forever.
Do you know that too, Dan? Did you know that they were married? I know you didn't know who his kid was, but
No, I don't even know who you're talking about.
And I like that he is that he's a real person. I mean, like he's a human being and not like
he's not magical or sainted.
not magical necessarily. He still is magical, right? But he's not all like ho 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 jolly jolly jolly.
Yeah.
He's like
He's healthy.
Yeah, he's in good shape. He's kind of like a little bit superhero-esque, right? He's
Powers, not like not
yeah,
magic again. Yeah.
Exactly. And he's interesting, but also he's like not super nice all the time. Like he is like probably how you would deal with shitty kids,
bah
right?
humbug.
Is like, yeah, a little bit. Like you love kids, you have Christmas and all that stuff, but when these kids are being shitty, you like lay down the law. I don't know. I thought he was an excellent Santa. I really, really enjoyed it, and he stood out the most for me of any Santa on screen. Most memorable in a very long time. So.
The beard is
He's hot though, right?
it
Like
is-
he's
yeah.
a hot Santa. It's weird.
And the
Yeah.
flowing hair.
I know.
Like Santa's always been like chubby, and chubby's always associated with like out of shape, right? So like bad knees or a bad back or like hunched over. But like he's Kurt Russell as Santa, not Santa being created by Kurt Russell.
Yeah, it's great. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I really enjoyed it. I thought he did a really fun job of it. I feel like there was a Santa line that like he used as like a catchphrase that was kind of like, I can't remember it now, but it was also
Was it
kind of
catchphrase?
yeah, catchphrase. It was also kind of like threatening. I'll remember it as we go. I'm sure.
Don't make me take away your tree, little one.
I'll think of it. But anyway, it's all very funny. So Kurt Russell.
Dan, who's your Santa baby?
Like, are we talking like real Santas or just potentially people in Santa suits?
We are talking like who for you embodies the best version of Santa from said screen? Television, movie of the week, commercial, fuck, I don't care. The Leon's people, like, we'll do whatever you want.
I've got two. I've got Billy Bob Thornton.
You like a
Bad
bad,
Santa.
you like a bad
like a bad Santa. And
Come and sit on my lap.
just because I thought that movie was hilarious.
It is.
And my other one's Richard Attenborough because he's
Miracle on
Miracle on
34th
34th.
OG Santa.
Yes.
Right?
He is, yeah, he is. Did you think he brought a dinosaur for anybody back then? And then like,
No, it's pre-dinosaurs.
I know it's pre-dinosaurs, but like, shut up! Don't bust a hole in my Santa.
he probably had like plans. Like he probably had some islands from a people that sell houses, real estate agent for different islands.
Sure.
Trying to scout out where he's gonna put it when he
Long game.
long game. Yeah,
It's not coming back in the 60s.
he's just found his amber. And he's just
He is such a good. Is it because you have an affinity because of being from your island, or is it that
he's one of the first Santas I saw that was Santery, the Santiest Santa.
Santeria.
Santeria?
Yeah, the
Wow.
Santeriest.
Sublime of you.
Yeah.
I'm here all week. Yeah, no, he's the OG. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. A lot of people carbon copy.
Yeah,
They-
he's the bassist for a lot of other.
well, and he looks like Santa in his off day.
Yeah.
right? Like at Easter time, he still looks like Santa, right? Richard Attenborough is he
Santa.
kept the beard, he kept the face.
We saw Santa on the drive over here today.
You did?
He was just walking down Portage. It was pretty cool.
Was he like? Did he look like Dan Aykroyd from Trading Places?
A little
No,
bit.
Because that's an underrated Santa.
He looked like Santa. He was wearing a Santa hat and regular clothes, but like he was obviously Santa. It was very.
Of course, it could be me too, because I'm doing SantaCon again this year.
Oh, that's the big cruise that everybody does
Yeah.
in town. They all get shit faced and go around.
Dress up as Santa and just go on a pub
Can you
crawl.
send me more details about that? Because I might be interested in
Sure.
I can pick you guys up. I'm not going, but I'll come get you guys after.
Yeah.
Like,
last year there was about 60 of us.
that. I haven't done a pub crawl since I had my pants pulled down by a bachelorette on one. And that is a story for a different podcast.
Oh, what's your
There's-
Santa?
There's a lot, and one because he reminds me of my grandpa, the other one because it reminds me of my childhood. I'll tell you both, but I'll pick one first. I'm gonna go with what's familiar. I'm gonna go with Ed Asner from Elf.
Nice.
I think
That's
that
a good one.
Santa, I know him.
I think the patience that he gives Buddy and just how he knows that Buddy's not right
Yeah.
by standards of Elf everything, and watching Ed for once not come in like a bulldog and fuck shit up and yell at somebody or give somebody shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know, everybody knows Ed recently from Up, right? I mean, that's what really kind of brought his career back. But Ed as Santa is just a fun, joyful, like cartoonish comedic Santa that
Yeah.
I would hope would show up down my chimney and treat me the same, right? Like, isn't shell shocked, doesn't make you feel,
Yeah.
you know, weird for, you know, just loves people in his good in his heart of hearts and his sack of sacks.
That's so heartwarming.
But the one from my childhood that means the most to me, and if you've listened to the show long enough, you know that if I'm going to cry over anything, it's going to be a father-son scene. Fuck you, Dad. And it is Tim Allen from the Santa
I was
Claus.
gonna say we can't get through this without someone saying Tim Allen.
It-
It's definitely on this list.
Yeah.
being with your dad at Christmas time, not wanting to be, screaming at mom to not drop you off, going to Denny's for chocolate milk. I mean, I don't have a Denny's chocolate milk story, but I have a story of like not being where you want to be and it's not what you want. But then Christmas morning comes around and it maybe could be kind of better. My dad never ended up being Santa. Fuck you, Dad. But like, just the fact that you watched him go from the worst guy, the worst dad, to being what he shouldn't be, and learning along the way and having all those moments. And I'm like, why couldn't why couldn't my dad make a better Christmas for me?
Aww.
You know, stuff like that. So those are my
Yeah.
two attractions. One really dark and emotionally driven, and one just full of joy. But like, I mean, Santa's had so many fucking iterations.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah. There's
so
a billion different
Dirty
ways.
Santa, Thurman asking for what do you? That's one of my trivia questions. Is what Thurman asks.
Yeah.
Billy Bob
really?
Thornton. Yeah, that's one of my.
Wasn't it like? Oh, I have to say it. We haven't seen it yet, but after Christmas last year we got our hands on Violent Night, and we still haven't seen it, and so I think we're gonna like. We've been sitting on it till this Christmas, so we're gonna watch it maybe today. Or
You're gonna get a Viking Santa.
I love it.
what
Again,
you're gonna get.
David Harbour can do no wrong in my mind.
It is set in like, I mean, first of all, being shot in Winnipeg. I mean,
Oh, was it?
Oh,
I didn't
know
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I rented to that one in the day job. That one was a lot of fun to hear stuff about. I was getting shots of sets of when when you see it, it's the big snowmobile homage to Die Hard. They do a very similar one.
Nice.
Okay.
And they showed me how they tied up the snowmobile and then pulled it through the rope and then launched it in the parking lot and then it dropped and everything. I was like,
Nice.
that's fucking cool. But the opening sequence is actually in the We Johnnies.
Really?
We Johnnies. And John Brocco, I'm sorry, John. He's played Santa. He's a local actor. I can bring this up because I've got an image of him. But he's one of the Santas in the opening sequence. He's sitting there at the other end of the bar, and he's just coming off of being Santa at a mall.
Oh yeah.
And David Harbour's character is like coming off being Santa,
Yeah.
having a
Actual
drink,
Santa.
and but like you, Emily. If you don't get a little lady wet over it, I'll be like, I got hard over
Full
it
of honor.
because they really do a fun job of why this Santa. It's grounded. It's not like outlandish.
I can't wait to see it. I love David Harbour. I love weird takes on classics. I love all of that stuff. So I'm very much looking forward to it.
Hang on here. I wanna do this right so I don't screw up his name, and I can cut all of this. But John B. Lowe, not John Broccoli. John B. Lowe is the gentleman who's in the scene with David Harbour. Okay, he's a local actor, super talented, but he's played Santa in many scenes. And when you go look at him after, you will know exactly why he is like the perfect Santa. You guys want to dig into the list?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
let's see if some of our hot picks were on there.
They better be.
I reckon they all are.
We've got one from Collider and one from Screen Rant.
I haven't looked at either, so.
What do you want? What do you trust more, Collider or Screen Rant?
Screen Rant.
Screen Rant it is. All right. Wow, that's a good start.
Oh, wow, yeah,
two of them mentioned. First one up is Paul Giamatti as Fred Claus. Anybody see Fred Claus?
I've never seen that one.
I don't
No.
think so. No.
Based just on looking at it, I mean, he is your prototypical Santa.
Yeah, and you know, if Paul Giamatti's funny, I bet he does a good job. I could see that.
Paul Giamatti is like, I have such a soft spot. Paul Giamatti, Sideways, was like one of my first like movies or more than just like action sequences.
Okay, yep.
Story and everything. He's such a fucking fierce to be reckoned with. But I mean,
so diverse. Like he can do anything.
Do lots of things.
He can be a lawyer in Billions. He can be Santa in Fred Claus. I think this is the one with Vince Vaughn, right? In Fred Claus.
Oh.
Isn't it like a father-son thing where he's like, I'm Fred Claus and I'm supposed to like take over for the family?
Okay.
I think that's the story. It's not in my Christmas repertoire.
No.
David Huddleston, Santa Claus the Movie, 1985.
All right.
That's got to be a movie of the week. Santa Claus the Movie sees Santa attempting to help his favorite elf when the evil man in charge of a business that makes toys begins influencing him.
Oh.
It's definitely a great premise for a Christmas movie and features the voices of David Huddleston and John Lithgow. Since Santa Claus is such a beloved figure, the movie feels very nostalgic.
That's funny. So it's back in the capitalism is the bad guy.
Yeah,
series.
I'm okay with that
Yeah, me
trope.
too.
I think it's a true trope.
It definitely is, yeah.
It's been happening for a while.
Yeah.
Very Nordic-looking Santa. Very.
Yeah.
He looks like dirty. Just from that picture, he looks like he's been on a binge drinking.
Does he look like Dan Aykroyd from Trading Places?
A little
Oh my
bit.
goodness. Don't worry, Santa, you're doing a good job. Kurt Russell.
There it is. There it is. Look at that.
Yeah,
I know.
look
He
at that
looks
mane.
like a great Santa.
Okay, take
If
away.
I could have my beard like that, that would be amazing.
But like leather coat,
Yes.
mink fur, or some
Right?
sort of
he
like.
looks like it's not a costume. It's literally what he wears.
Yes.
As opposed to like where Santa Claus costume usually looks like a costume. This looks like his functional day-to-day
It's not
outfit when he
campy.
lives in the North Pole.
leather gloves all the way up to his elbows, right? This is what somebody on a sled would wear.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
all of these.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm gonna watch it after this.
I haven't seen that one yet. We'll get
There's
there.
two of them, right? There's Christmas
Yeah.
Chronicles
Yeah.
2. They followed up with it. Alec Baldwin as North in Rise of the Guardians. Was this something you and the kids watched?
Nope, never seen this one.
So it's a
never seen
voice
this one,
one.
no.
I mean, he looks like a lady who wore shoulder pads in the 80s.
Nice.
Like it's not a.
I love shoulder pads.
I don't like this animation. This is not a good. This is a guy who looks like he could be in Game of Thrones more than he could be
Yeah,
a
it looks
Santa.
like a wizard.
So no, I'm sorry. We're going back up here. Edmund Gwen's as Kris Kringle.
And the
in
original,
Miracle.
the original Miracle. on
The
34th
original,
Street.
not the one from
Yeah.
80s, late 80s, early
Yeah.
90s. They do that
Late
one.
80s.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
He's your traditional Santa.
Yeah,
He looks like a Santa at like a corporate Christmas party.
He's got the look.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? He's Macy's Santa.
That's right.
Yeah.
Come to life.
Yeah, he's like, or he works like they hire him at, yeah. Santa Claus and the Magic Drum.
Essa Sario.
Heard of this.
I have not.
Okay, so when asked their favorite movie Santa, Redditor Dr. Victor Von Ness, thanks Victor, said a lesser-known movie, Santa from Santa Claus and the Magic Drum, the Finnish animated film based on Maury Kuna's book. I mean, it does look, it looks like Charlie Brown kind
It
of.
looks like
I
Charlie
feel
Brown
like
or
I saw this when I was
Really?
younger. Yeah, I feel like it looks.
it looks like the
picture
animation
looks
from
familiar.
Frosty the Snowman.
Very,
Yeah.
yeah, no, definitely. Like a PBS or like
Yeah.
a NBC, like a special
Yeah.
kind of thing. Bill Nye as Grand Santa in Arthur Christmas. I don't even remember Arthur Christmas coming out or Bill Nye being.
Nahi?
Yeah,
Nye. I don't think that's Bill Nye, like AKA the science.
It's
guy.
not the
No, it's
science.
not. There's two. There's two. There's an actor as well.
He's. Did you see The Boat That Rocked?
No.
Or pirate radio, it's by its other name, where like a famous radio station in the 70s broadcasted off a ship.
Yeah,
off
South
Yeah.
England,
yeah.
So he's the guy who owns the ship in that.
Oh,
He's
okay.
also, do you remember Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yes.
He's the guy who builds the planets in the end of the movie when he takes them on a tour.
Oh,
He's
okay.
he's an iconic British actor. He is. I've seen
Love
him in a
Actually. He's the
million
aging
things.
rock star.
Oh,
Love
I
is all
feel it
over
in
my fingers. I feel it in my toes.
Yeah. All right.
Fuck shit, fuck bitch, cunt, fuck motherfucker.
Exactly. Christmas is all around us.
Bill Nye.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, animation's okay, but it looks claymation to me.
It does look. I think it is claymation.
yeah,
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure
it
I've
is.
seen it actually.
And he's playing Grand Santa.
Cute.
Amazon Prime and Hulu. All right.
I want to give it a try.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Oh,
Billy Bob Thornton.
You're on the list
Hell
there,
yeah.
sir. All right. Billy Bob Thornton is Willie T. Stoke?
Yep.
Stoke.
Bad Santa. That's a great movie.
Do we think that Billy Bob just showed up on a bender and was like, let's film this shit and go home? Because he's so in character as like the worst piece of shit.
I feel like he read the script and was like, "This is me.
Yeah, I can do this.
I can do this."
This is method.
Yeah,
So good.
and just drank. But yeah, no, it's
And what's her face from Gilmore Girls, isn't it, too,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Well, she's Lorelai in Gilmore Girls. What's her name? Lauren Graham.
Lauren Graham. I think one of the best modern contemporary Santas, let's say that. Like, there's no class. Like, he's the anti-Santa.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
So much fun.
Peter Jacoby, Rare Exports, A Christmas Tale. What is
What
this?
is
never
this?
heard of it. It looks like a horror.
Our extremely interesting Reddit choice for the best movie Santa is from a festive
horror
movie, Rare Exports, A Christmas Tale. Suggested by Redditor Till Now. It's not your usual Santa movie for sure.
It's Finnish again.
It's okay.
The Finnish make a lot of great
Reindeer
horrors.
slaughterer finds
And like heavy metal.
feral and
Yeah.
cannibalistic old man in one of his traps, who he believes to be Santa.
I might try and download this later.
Yeah, we should watch that. That sounds like fun.
He looks like Freddy before Freddy became Freddy,
I love it.
with a long
Freddy
beard.
Krueger?
Yeah. I'm just saying that because it looks like he's in a janitor's closet. I have no
I'm
other
into
basis
that.
for that. J.K. Simmons is
It's
Klaus.
Oh, I've seen this movie. This actually is a very cute one.
Yeah?
Yeah, the kids watched it a few years ago, and he does a good job. This was a cute movie.
He looks like a lumberjack.
He's a very Santa-y Santa, I think.
But
Yeah.
he
When
doesn't
he
have any
puts it-
red on him.
In that picture. He does when he is Santa.
Okay, then some dipshit took the wrong picture to tell me and sell me on.
It was
Santa.
good.
Facts.
It was nice.
Dad,
Richard
do you want
Attenborough.
to talk about this one?
I think we already did, didn't we?
Yeah, another pick of yours.
Richard Attenborough.
He's such a great Santa.
I just every time I look at him, I'm just like, come on, baby, come on, little one, come on, little one. That's the first thing that pops in my mind.
Such a cute
yeah,
Santa. And that's right, Mara Wilson from Matilda. She plays the little girl.
it's
It's just a heartwarming story.
And we're talking about best on-screen gifts. He gets her a house and a dad for Christmas.
that was overlooked.
Yeah.
I think that may take away the $8,000.
Yeah. Tim Allen and Scott Calvin.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Listener, this proves that we know our Santas.
We do know Santa.
We know who we should like and who we
Except
shouldn't
we
like.
don't know the Finnish Santas, apparently.
That's
No.
but that's okay. They don't know our Santas. You don't. Yeah. See, it's fine. Tim Allen with the hot cocoa scene. It took me 1,000 years to perfect this recipe. If that's the one that remains true, and it's fun because every one of these other guys is like Santa from the hop, Santa from the get-go, right?
Yeah.
They're Santa. This guy, not Santa,
Yeah.
becomes
To
Santa.
Find his inner Santa.
Which you never really get to experience the journey of Santa. You're always told Santa is.
As opposed to there is a clause in
In-
which people become Santa. There's so many good puns in there. The Santa Claus, the Rose Such a Clatter company. Like,
yeah.
there-
A rose such a ladder.
yeah. The Rose Such a Ladder.
There's no
company.
such thing as a good pun.
Oh, it's a great one. So we did it. We nailed it. All
We
of
nailed
our
it.
Santas are on there.
All our Santas. I think you've just nailed a new way to do this. Let's tell the world what we pick before we maybe make it to a list. or
How
not.
else will we prove our dominance in the film and television
I agree.
Google?
sphere?
Google. Yeah, everybody.
Our sphere of
How do you think I found
influence.
these lists? This is Google Best Santa. All right, Screen Rant, you're at the top. Let's
Perfect.
take you, bud. So where did I put my lovely cell phone? I think that's a great way to start the month, you guys. This is going to be out next week for listeners. So But in this last month, there hasn't just been the start of Christmas, or the last week of this month. There's been some news that has been happening. I took some notes down. Do you guys want to talk about some news?
Let's do it.
Yep.
All right. Let's talk about the one that we've all seen, because this one was kind of interesting, and it plays into what's happening in the world. The SAG strike just is being ratified right now. So the 89% agreed vote for the SAG community is being ratified up until December 16th, I believe. And it'll go through, and things will happen. And AI is prevalent in this one. They actually refer to it, I was talking about this before, they refer to it as a natural performance or a digital performance.
Oh, okay.
That's the language that's in it. So if it's
That makes sense.
digital, then it's it's Harrison Ford taken from every Indiana Jones movie and put on screen. That's digital.
Yeah.
Where if he actually shows up to set to play him, that will be natural.
Yeah.
So we've all seen The Flash.
Yes.
Yes. And we remember in the end, there's that lovely callback to all the Superman of yesteryear, George Reeves, and so on and so forth. And you guys knew about the Nicolas Cage story before?
Only when you told us when we showed up.
Okay. All right. So, but did we know that Nicolas Cage almost played Superman at one point with Tim
Yes.
Burton involved?
Yes, we
We've
did
all
know
heard-
that.
Kevin
That
Smith
one, yeah.
wrote
Yeah, exactly. We've all heard the story. Kevin Smith wrote it. Exactly. I'll put a link in the show notes if I remember, listener, for you where you can Google it yourself right now and cut me out of the equation. But long and the short of it is there almost was a Tim Burton directed Nicolas Cage starring Superman with long hair, and I think we all would have loved it.
I think, yeah.
I-
I'm sad that never happened.
I wanted it so bad.
So in the callback, in the roll call of all the Superman, because he never played him, we got Nicolas Cage fighting a giant spider, which is part of the Kevin Smith story.
Yeah.
Which is what makes the story so great, because that giant spider actually ends up in Wild Wild West, which if you listen to it will make more sense. Anyways, what's interesting about this news bite is he says he did one thing, and then they made him do a ton of other things.
Which, I mean, if you're only going to be a little bit in the movie, it's maybe not the worst thing, right? Show up, do a couple shots, and then take off.
Totally. I think that's fine and good and all, but like, I don't know when they obviously shot this before the strike happened. So he says he walked in, put on a suit, and was like just staring off into space, looking off in the world. But like the fight sequence, the laser beams out
Yeah.
of his eyes,
Yeah.
the spider stuff, none of that was told. Is that shitty? Like, would you feel a little butthurt? Or is that just like, hey, man, that's the way the world works?
Well, I think it's the way the world works, but I think they should have been like, okay, so we're capturing your image, and
Your
we're going to
likeness.
CGI you into a scene at the end of the film.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have to say you're going to be fighting a giant spider.
Are we led to believe that he didn't know what was going to happen?
He says he didn't do any of those things.
Right, but not doing any of those things and not knowing what the end result was going to be are two different things. So, like, if they didn't tell him what was going to happen,
Like, if he just showed up...
I could tug out my ass or just click the link.
yeah, if he showed up on set and they were like, okay, we're going to do it at the end of the movie, you're just going to stand there.
All right, here's the big bite. Nicolas Cage cameo in Flash. Nicolas Cage wonders whether artificial intelligence was used to create his Superman cameo in The Flash. That's not what I did on set.
right? Which is that's again different, I think, from being like I was blindsided by the end result of the movie.
Well, that's also like a bunch, like even just like Matrix, right? Like the stuff they did in set wasn't the stuff that ended up in the film.
Yeah.
And that was at the beginning of all of the CGIs and the first one of the big steps. So, like,
here's
I'm
this quote
okay.
to help it. You said it perfectly when you said we made an agreement, which is what you guys are talking about. That is the linchpin to it. There's an agreement and a mutual understanding and a contract that you've gone into knowing both sides and knowing full well what we're getting into. I'm not saying they used AI on the Superman thing. Maybe they did. I don't know. Maybe it was just CGI. But whatever it was, that's not what I did on set. As much as I love director Andy Muschietti and Barbara Muschietti, his sister, and I do think that they're great, it's not what I was told to do on set.
I still think I still think that's different from not what I was told was going to happen.
Yeah.
Not what I was told to do on set, and not what I was told was going to happen eventually. Those seem like.
Well, also, they're not.
Oh, and that's where the lawyer will live, right?
Huh.
Yeah, and they're also with things like these giant Flash movies, and you're putting all the Superman on the end of it. They don't want these actors to know what's going to happen, because these actors will go like Tom Holland can't keep his mouth shut.
Yeah.
Like he has to have babysitters when he's doing interviews.
You raise a good point.
So like if he had gone in an interview, just like a podcast
And
he
been
did,
like,
and something,
"Oh,
and he's
I
like,
was in
"Oh, I was
Flash."
in the end of the Flash. They're doing a whole thing, and I did all this. I fought this fucking spider." And
Damn it, Nicolas Cage.
And then
Or Mark Ruffalo leaves his cell phone on in the middle of the fucking theater. Like, those two guys between the two of them will fuck up every secret known to man. You're right. That's a good point.
And so it could have just been the studio like, yeah, we want him. We're going to do this, but we only
Well,
need...
he was told that the end sequence in Endgame was a funeral. Or a wedding, not a funeral.
Oh.
So he shows up like, hey, it's a wedding.
Yeah. Yeah, because he can't keep his mouth shut. And I
that's
think,
your point.
I think
Yeah.
that's the point. Yeah, because... That's it. They only need to scan his image, right? Like, they only need to get a digital surround sound
It's not
of
even
him in the
scanned.
suit.
It's just him there doing stuff, and then you're right. They take it the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Like I don't even. It doesn't sound like he even put the dots on. He just came to set and then
With
like,
the suit. Well, I think the technology doesn't even need the dots as much anymore.
if it's not CGI, it doesn't. It just
Yeah.
takes and
Just
renders and
takes the image and makes
takes
it.
and takes and
Yeah.
takes. No, you raise good points, and like I mean, unless it's legally wrong. There's no right answer to this. It's your opinion.
Yeah.
That's the best part about this, right? But like seeing both sides of the equation, did they not tell him? Because then if he knows, A, he might protest, B, he might let it slip, right? So keep it quiet. You agreed that you're doing this and this is what will happen. But it wasn't what you were told on set. Who knows? Maybe they didn't even know at the time that they were shooting that for that.
Yeah,
Like
he could have come in and did his day or 3 hours like halfway through filming because the schedules aligned and they were like, okay, we'll shelve this and we'll figure out our closing sequence once we've got all of our Supermen lined up.
Yeah.
So we know what we're going to do. We'll have him fight the spider. We'll have him do this.
Yeah.
It could have not even been a spider. Someone would have been like, does anybody know about the spider story?
Yeah.
And then they thought it would be funny because like Kevin Smith didn't even know either, but they're not going to tell him.
Yeah.
And that's his story. I don't know. It's just interesting to see like where they're gonna poke and jab with the AI.
Well, that's another thing too. It's he wrote the story, but is it his story or does Warner Brothers own it or whoever, whatever?
And that's the agreement you work yourself into.
I wrote this story for you to be on this thing, so they own the story. He wrote it, so they can pull anything out of it they want.
Yeah, practically.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Something's happening.
It's the fan. Otherwise, what else do we have this week? Oh, Bradley Cooper would love to do a Hangover 4.
God, those movies are funny.
I'm down for it.
Yeah, I'm down for it. The third one wasn't great,
Nah.
but I think they can.
I think we need a reunion movie.
Yeah, I think they could pull. Like if they can get all four of them. Yeah, if they can get the 4 back.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you in the slightest. Emily, what about you?
A movie that's just good, solid, goofy fun. 10 out of 10. Love it.
There hasn't been many lately.
No, 'cause
pure, straight out funny movies.
Well, slapstick comedies are gone because we're all too fragile.
Yeah.
Not us, but like the world, the amount of money it takes to offend somebody is not worth making that movie. Like you could make it, you could go straight to streaming with it, and that would be the place because then you're fine. But the big comedy in the theater anymore, I think, is dying.
Yeah, like the movies that were like
they're not-
so insane that they were hilarious, like American Pie, right? Or Euro Trip or
Yeah.
Road Trip or whatever. Those
Both are
movies.
good.
Euro Trip's one of my favorite movies.
It's hard
You're
to.
kissing your sister.
Yeah, you kissed your sister, dude. Oh, here's a fun fact. You made out with your sister, dude.
Yeah, no, I dig that. You know what? I like Bradley Cooper. I don't. I love A Star Is Born. I think he did such a good job with it. I really
my
wish
God.
it wasn't that movie because that
Yeah.
movie's just been fucked with too much. But like he did a really good job with that story. It made you forget that it was a remake. The stuff that where he likes to have fun and be an idiot. He wants to be a director, but he doesn't take himself too seriously. So hearing that he'd go back to doing this,
Yeah.
I'd watch it.
I'd watch it in a minute.
Yeah, it's nice when you have a good offensive movie.
It's nice when you have a good bank of phones too.
The nice thing about the nice thing
Do you have a bank
about
of phones around here? I need to make a call.
about The Hangover that they do a good job of is that they don't punch down in The Hangover, right? Like, and so that's what makes it funny and enjoyable. Is like all the jokes are leveled at people and things that are like, it's a good.
It happens to you. It's not about you.
Yeah, exactly. And so they don't take like it might be a funny movie, but they actually don't do much lazy comedy.
No.
And so that's why it's not offensive. It's like it's
Oh, I'm sure
it's
somebody was
insane,
offensive.
but it's not offensive.
It's insane because it's a trip that goes sideways.
Yeah.
But like when you look at The Hangover, I'm not certain I could say that wouldn't happen to me
I know,
if I was with my
exactly.
friends in
Oh,
Vegas.
I have had trips that went horribly sideways before. Like, not quite to that extent.
It's
but-
grounded. You can believe
Yeah,
that losing
like-
your buddy on the roof of a Vegas casino is totally fucking plausible in a town that sells everything,
Yep.
including the
Tigers.
ability to be a tiger, right?
Yeah.
Like it. So, and I mean, I think now would be fun because, like, how do you make it now? How does Todd Phillips make? Like, what trip do you go on now? Is it an anniversary? Is it like they've done the wedding,
boys'
they've done the
weekend.
bachelorette? Like, is
Yeah.
it a boys' weekend? Is it?
Oh, someone gets divorced or something, and they go on a trip to try to like cheer him up.
Yeah, they try to recreate.
There is a divorce movie. I can't remember who's in it at all now, but they go to Vegas and a hooker dies in a hotel room. That's a good movie.
Wow.
And his Maestro
See if I
is
can find
getting reviewed amazingly. It's
Yes.
the new conductor movie about the
Yeah.
guy who's better than, I can't remember his name, but I think he would. I mean,
He seems good at everything.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with
Must be
Bradley
nice.
Cooper. So that's about all I had for some news bites before we cut and run on listener today. Is there anything you guys want to get in before we peace out? Any shout outs? Anything? Where?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think we're.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah,
Happy holidays.
thank you for tuning in to our holiday filled episode.
No, just be cool to each other, man.
Yeah.
Just be excellent to each other.
Be so excellent, Rufus. If this is your first time listening, listener, thank you for listening to all the way to the end. Listening is the easiest way to support the show. If you want to listen more, subscribe to the show so you can listen each and every week. I've never said listen this many times and not screwed it up.
Listen.
And that's the free and easy way to support the show. If you want to do more, like donate to the cause, go to therealdebaters.ca and click the buy the coffee thing. Stuff like that just pays for shit on
We
the
won't
show.
actually use it for F1. We let Michael keep all that money. He buys more equipment and things to make us better.
But if somebody out there was like, "Hey, I got the money," I'll be like, "I'll pay it forward. I got no problems with that." With that said, as well too, if you want to buy our merch, we've got a fun merch stand called the Spread Shop. We call it the Prop Shop. The link in our bio. It's in all of the show notes. I don't need to tell you how to subscribe. It's all down there if you want to stay in the know about trivia, know about movie nights, listen to Emily and Dan and me, or Mark, or Rob, or Charles, or Martin, or Jimmy, or Ian, or anybody else that you like listening to on the show.
Wow, there's a lot of
There's
us.
so many.
I know. That's why Sam at Witch Police is like, well, if we ever go toe to toe, you have 8 people with you. I was like, I'll leave my entourage at home. We can pod. We've been talking online. We should say this, listener. We are by the Uniter, the University Uniter. We are the #2 podcast again this year in Winnipeg. They did their favorite 30 list, and we lost to Sam again, and Stefan, a friend, a wrestler, somebody who knows everybody in the podcast community, Stefan Ricard, said, "Why don't you guys like go at it, like, you know, toe to toe?" And I was like, "I'll be the Derek to your Hansel, man. Like, we can have a fucking podcast off and show up. We can have cord pulling and cord wrapping and setup and takedown. Like, we can have a podcast Olympics and see who the better podcast is and invite people." So, Sam, I'm officially putting the gauntlet down. We're both lazy, so this will probably never happen. But I will echo the fact that thank you to everybody who voted us as Winnipeg's #2 podcast. We just like that you know who we are. So
Fantastic.
we're the #2 podcast in Winnipeg. You should subscribe is what I'm fucking saying.
Like and subscribe.
Besides that, we hope to see you at trivia and movie nights and all the things to come. And yeah, I've been Michael.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Emily.
And we've been the Real Debaters. Masturbate, keep fit, have fun, watch all the movies. Bye, guys.
Bye.
If you have any problems, dial information. Thank you for calling.